Boy, all right. Welcome to the show today. I'm Ryan Renker, filling in for Annie Frey. Brad, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. Okay, I want you to rank. I'm going to give you a list of like 5 jobs, and I want you to rank them from best to worst.
Do I get to
okay?
hear them, or do I just have to put them in there?
No, I'm just gonna give them to you right now. We're just
Okay.
gonna come up with 5 jobs: roofer, proctologist, radio DJ. How about paramedic and someone that's working on a vessel in the Strait of Hormuz?
Oh, man. Okay. So the worst one is proctologist, even though the pay is
You think
good.
so?
Yes.
That's
no,
worse than going through the strait right now on a
yes.
commercial vessel.
No, thank you.
Okay, proctologist the worst.
Yes. And then the next one above that, probably roofer.
Okay.
And then I would put the
straight in the middle.
The straight in the middle, and then I would go what was it? Paramedic, and then radio DJ.
Okay, so of those 5, radio DJ is the best of the 5.
Best of the 5, yeah.
Okay, even though you probably have better job security with any of the other jobs.
Yes. Well,
if you can secure your safety in something like that.
I was going to say, I think those sailors are looking for better job security right now.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess the only thing that's less secure is if you're trying to smuggle in drugs from somewhere into the United States, and then next thing you know, there's a night vision video of you getting blown up on the internet.
I was gonna say,
don't smuggle drugs into the U.S.
Say next thing you know, you're watching your kill cam from heaven.
Yeah. So, well, who knows where they're at?
Yeah.
So let's look at what's going on with Iran right now, and it looks like Donald Trump said, "Hey, the only thing that's going to get through to them is talk like this." And can we play clip number 1?
Ooh, let me pull these up.
Oh, sure. Clip number 1, where he's talking about what's going to happen. I think he said starting next week if they don't get back in line, because we've had a lot of false starts. We're going to do this and we're close to a deal, and we made a deal and we don't have a deal, and we have another deal again, and we're close to a deal, and here we are again. So apparently talks between Israel and Lebanon and some of these other talks with Iran, you get these little notions that things are progressing nicely. However, I don't know how much stock you can put into that, because we've seen the false starts way too many times. And now Donald Trump coming out this week saying, all right, if they called it off because they broke the negotiations, the only thing that they will understand is if we talk to them like this. And it's more than dirty talk with them. Do we have the clip, I think?
Yes, we're ready.
This is clip number 1.
Next week comes the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
Do you believe the Iranians are serious about making a deal?
I think they have no choice.
Why haven't they yet?
I think if I didn't do the way I'm doing, they would never make a deal.
Okay, so he has to say, we're going to knock out your power plants, we're going to knock out your bridges, which you can't do. You definitely cannot do that. But if that is enough to scare them straight, then maybe in the end, I'm not a big fan of the ends justify the means thing when you're trying to float knocking out their power plants and bridges, which is not good. I don't know if the United States would ever actually go ahead and do something like that, but I think that's maybe what Iran needs to hear right now.
Well, I think that it would be worth doing if those things were feeding their war effort. So if you could link the power plants to their, factories that are creating the missiles and the drones that are shooting the ships in the Strait of Hormuz, I think you're good to go. Same thing with the bridges. Are these bridges delivering these munitions to the front for war? Then you can do it. We did that in World War II.
Mm-hmm. So in instances like this, are there exclusive power plants just for military use?
No, but I think that, and we can ask Dr. Olidort this, but I think that the rules of engagement allow you to do it if it is used for that purpose in addition to civilian.
Right. So part of this, too, is we saw some daytime strikes kick back up here, and where was it here? It's U.S. Fifth Fleet targeted. It says Iran in latest exchange of strikes. Here's what's happening. So over the past, let's say, 12 to 24 hours, we've seen strikes go both ways. This Middle East stuff, man, I don't want to say I'm getting desensitized, because I'm not, But you notice when you go to news sites, this isn't always a given number one on their site anymore. Do you notice that?
Yes.
It's kind of strange because of considering the gravity of the situation. What did they say in Back to the Future? That's heavy, Doc.
Yeah.
There must be a gravitational problem. But given the gravity of it all, if you go to some of these major news sites right now, it's not necessarily the top story on their website. Do you think people have this sort of, okay, they're taking care of it and I don't have to deal with it right now? Do you think there's fatigue? Do you think people don't care? I don't know.
I think it's because it's for the past, I don't know, however long it's been the same line. They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. They don't want to make a deal. You know, we're not shooting. We're pausing. We're shooting. We're shooting again. We're pausing. It's just, there's no new news. It's just the same news recycled again, even though there's new action. Now,
right.
I feel like maybe we're in a different phase now. Maybe we're past this thought that this crazy dictatorship, this religious zealotry that's in the leadership is actually of the mind that they want to make a deal. I think that it's basically you have to submit them. And now we're in that phase of this, I hope.
Really? So you're Caesar Milaning them, and you keep clicking your snapping at them and hoping that at some point it's going to catch on where they're going to just snap them out of it.
Yeah, we want a calm, submissive Iran.
That's right. So Caesar Milan, we've been watching The Dog Whisperer. Donald Trump has been studying up, just like military leads, and they realize the only way we're going to be able to get them is if we do the human version of this to terrorists.
Basically.
And instead of snapping, we have to blow up their bridges and power plants. That's our snap. Did you see Donald Trump? He's going to be addressing the nation again
yes.
tomorrow night. And one of the big ones, they speculate what it's going to be about. They don't necessarily say it's going to be about Iran. There was some preview to that. I think Hugh Hewitt's show, they might have mentioned that it's going to be similar to the 4th of July speech. Some said they're going to talk about maybe the past elections and some evidence that has been brought up about that. Do you think it's going to be about election fraud?
I do. I think it is. I think that Donald Trump dropped some hints from the Oval Office talking about, how the country needs to get things together and straighten up. And I think he's referencing. I will go out on a limb here, and I will predict it will be specifically about the election in 2020 in Georgia. And I'm going to target the Senate races.
You are. Okay.
Yes.
So
that's my prediction.
Man, I haven't gone to Polymarket. Maybe I'll have to do that during the break and see if people are betting on it.
We are going to carry it, though, tomorrow night here on 97.1.
Yep. 9 Eastern, 8 Central would be the presidential address time. So if he brings this up right now in a presidential address to show the nation, here's what we uncovered. Is that the right way to do it, you think?
If you've got the receipts, yes. If he just goes up there and says, this is what we think happened, and he doesn't have the receipts, if he doesn't have the evidence, then no, this is the wrong way of going about it. But I think they'll have the receipts. If they're going to do it, I think they'll have the receipts. Because if he was just going to say stuff, he would have done that way earlier in his term.
Here's what I find when it comes to a lot of what happens against Donald Trump. You're called a conspiracy theorist if you believe there's some merit to what he's saying until he proves it. And then they still call you a conspiracy theorist, even when it's proven after the fact. He has brought receipts and has been proven true a lot of times. And the left just absolutely hates him. So I don't think they'll ever give him credit where credit is due. But in a case like this, do you think this would maybe move the needle, given that so many people were run out of office or prosecuted for saying things that were about the election and maybe pushed out of their social circles? Social media may have blocked them, made to be look foolish for even questioning the idea of the integrity of elections. There's so many people whose lives have been hurt and damaged because of this. If they come back and they find out it's all true, do you think maybe some restoration could happen?
Well, I think some restoration is owed. I think apologies would be owed if they have the receipts. If they show up and say, here's the evidence, it's irrefutable. Now, there will always be, like, even if you had Loctite evidence, you had Joe Biden, this is wild to say, but you had Joe Biden on tape confessing to everything that was done in the 2020 election. There are still some people that would say, no, I don't believe it. But I think for the average American, if you bring enough evidence that shows that there was funny business or whatever it was going on, I think definitely it would change some hearts and minds on it. But again,
I like that you call it funny business.
Yeah, I think you have to have the receipts.
Okay, and I'm curious what that is going to look like, especially if you're doing a presidential address with it. You're addressing the nation. There has to be something big there. Normally when you address the nation too, so this is of utmost importance. It impacts a lot of people. They need to know about it. So do you think perhaps that he's going to follow this up with, here's how we're going to secure the next election so this never happens again, laying out the platform of which Republicans have been trying to push in this upcoming election? Maybe that's kind of the springboard to all of this.
Well, I think the idea is that you get the Save America Act passed.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be a major push then to get the citizens to put pressure on their politicians, their senators, to get this through, because this can't happen. If they come out there and they show that there was fraud and all sorts of stuff, that shouldn't happen in the United States. And there shouldn't be anybody in the United States that is okay with it, even if it was their side that won.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's a lot of fraud in the United States that we can look at.
Benefits
going to people that don't belong there, that are still defending that. So coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the movie The Odyssey with Dr. Benedict Whalen. He's with Hillsdale College, kind of a historical check on that. Real quick, if the people want to go vote in the YouTube live chat poll, it's up. What is it?
It is, should we do away with seasonal time changes? And so I've got 3 options here for you. Yes, keep standard time. Yes, keep daylight savings time or saving time. Or no, leave it alone.
All right, this is a good one. Apparently, when they poll, it's like 50-50, yes or no. So I'm curious to see how this audience falls on it. A lot of criticisms around this new movie called The Odyssey and maybe the interpretation that they have in Hollywood. We're going to talk to Dr. Benedict Whalen after the break. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey at 97.1 FM Talk.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website. I really hope that you have learned by now that I think Matt Hayes is a guy that you can trust. And meeting him maybe in your basement while you're trying to figure out how to solve the waterproofing concerns that you have with the water leaking in, maybe a lot of water leaking into that basement. You need to get ahead of it before it gets worse. It's going to get worse. So here's what you do. You call Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair, and you invite him over so that he can look at what you're dealing with and give you an estimate that will give you the solution that you need once and for all to have that waterproof basement finalized. Comes with a lifetime warranty, which is a great addition of trust that you can put into Home Shield Foundation Repair. They're going to do the job right the first time, but you want to do it with somebody who's going to listen to you, who's going to give you a really strong quality solution, and it's at 314-271-9900. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. We are in the 6th hottest real estate market in the country, Stewie. What can buyers in St. Louis do to gain that advantage with you?
You know what, Mark? It's real simple. Number one, the Bagel loan. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. The Big Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Take that money you're saving, add it to the bid, beat all the other offers out. Number two, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. What does that mean? We pre-approve you for the maximum amount that you qualify for. You can then go into our portal and edit the letter and raise it or lower it to any amount you want up to the amount you pre-approved. No waiting for the loan officer, no waiting for anybody else. It's all in your hands. And the third thing, we can close in 10 days. That's a big deal. If you go to the seller and say, hey, here's my offer. It may not be the best, but we can close quick. Everybody else is 30 days out. You know it's going to happen quickly with our reputation. Big bam boom, you got the house of your dreams.
Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know, we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
And doesn't 4 also kill majority rule?
Yup, creates minority rule, where just 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one Missouri congressional district that block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass common-sense conservative citizen ballot measures.
That's crazy town stuff.
And we've needed our citizen ballot measure power to pass some big conservative stuff, like outlawing tax hikes without voter approval, lobbyist reforms, and term limits for career politicians.
No way I'm letting a tiny fraction of liberals derail our conservative power. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch per care governance.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Do you think this song is in the Odyssey? I think they have
I don't.
maybe stretched the historical accuracy of the Odyssey. Would it surprise you to find out Backstreet Boys are perform a song in
I would be
right in the
stunned.
middle of a big battle? Yeah, so they cut to the Backstreet Boys. They're doing their dances, and they're in armor. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. Joining us now is Chairman and Associate Professor of English at Hillsdale College, Dr. Benedict Whalen. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
I find that the audience scores are not quite there yet for the Odyssey. The audience hasn't seen it, but the critic scores love the movie. And I remember reading the book. I can't quite recall all of it because I read it a long time ago in school. It was required reading. And I remember thinking, wow, this is kind of cool. This is fun to read. And I was shocked to find out that apparently there's a bunch of different interpretations of the Odyssey and different translations. And the one that they are using for this movie may not be the one that I read when I was in school. So as someone that studies this sort of thing and the Odyssey, which, by the way, Hillsdale College offers a free course online about, what should we know going into this movie?
Yeah, obviously the Odyssey has huge cultural weight for us, and so it's sort of generally known. We know different bits of the Odyssey that just percolate into our culture, like the Cyclops and the suitors and Odysseus and the sirens. But really, it's a great work of literature. It tells the story of Odysseus after the fall of Troy in his efforts to get home to Ithaca, where his wife and son are, and where his family's sort of besieged. It's interesting. The work follows up on Homer's earlier epic, the Iliad, which tells the story of part of the Trojan War. I was watching, we obviously haven't seen Nolan's film yet. I was watching the trailer for it, and you can tell that in the movie, he's patched together bits from both stories, both the Iliad and the Odyssey, because clearly the movie tells some of the fall of Troy, which isn't really the subject of the Odyssey itself, which picks up actually 9 years after the fall of Troy. But we get this great story, this great hero. He's a veteran. He's a survivor. He angers some gods and so runs into some trouble. And eventually, at the end of the work, I'm going to spoil the plot here. It's been out for 2,500 years, though, at this point. He gets home. He encounters 108 suitors who are all paying court to his wife. And eventually, with help from a goddess, Athena, and his son and a few loyal servants, he butchers them and reestablishes his political order, really.
So I guess there's different interpretations of this. I didn't understand that there's different translations, rather, and that could really change the story. So when it comes to the different translations and what they may be using for this movie, is there anything we should know about maybe some of the artistic sides of it that may surprise some of us that read this before?
Yeah, it's a wonderful poem. It's written in verse in hexameter, although different translations will render it in different forms of verse, and there are good and bad arguments for this. Sort of famously, some of your listeners may have heard of Emily Wilson's recent translation that rendered it in iambic pentameter, which is a shorter verse line. And she translated, for instance, the first line of the Odyssey. She describes Odysseus as a complicated man. And she's translating this word polytropon, which is the adjective given to Odysseus in the opening line. I don't love the translation complicated. For instance, Robert Fagles translates the line, "Sing to me of the man muse, the man of twists and turns." And I really, really love that line because it captures something about Odysseus' very character. He's he's twists and turns because he's been on a 9-year voyage home. So literally in his journey, it's been twists and turns. But he's also the sort of guy who's really hard to pin down. So you can't really grab him right away. He's not easy to understand. He's not easy to figure out. He's complicated in this additional sort of wily, clever way. And so that's one example of the translations can really shape how you look at the character. Is he complicated in some modern sense, or is he a hero of great epic stature who twists and turns throughout this ancient world on his way home? I don't know what translation Nolan is drawing on. I imagine he probably consulted several different ones. In our online course for Hillsdale, we worked through the Robert Fagel's translation, which is a really, really wonderful and highly accessible translation. So if your viewers are wondering if there's so many editions out there, what should I pick up, what translation? I really encourage the Fagels. As you mentioned, you read the Odyssey at some point back, and I imagine many of your viewers have. I just want to make a pitch to people to just pick it up again. People are surprised constantly at actually how readable and fun it is. So it might sound stuffy. It's some ancient epic poem, but it's really, really not. It's highly accessible. And so I hope that if people are sort of inspired or curious after seeing the Nolan film, don't be intimidated by the antiquity of the work or its length. It's really, it's a ripping good read.
Mm. And you have a course at Hillsdale College. In fact, it's something that people can pick up online and enjoy for themselves. So if they wanted to do that, what would they learn from that and where can they go?
Well, I talk about, we do over the course of the 12 lectures in that course, we do walk through the entire epic. So it's the sort of thing, it's free, it's online at Hillsdale's website. You just sign up and you can read the work along with us as I walk through the epic. I am interested in that course, though, in trying to get after some of Homer's thought. He's a very rich poet and a rich thinker, and so he has a deep vision of what human excellence looks like, of the importance of marriage in a political order. This is one of Homer's central concerns. In that earlier epic, the Iliad, Troy is destroyed because it commits itself to violating one of these Achaean leaders' marriages. And what we see in the Odyssey, in fact, in a simple way, to put it simply, is that actually the political order of Ithaca is restored through the restoration of the marriage of Odysseus and Penelope. So Homer's got sort of interesting ways of thinking about the relationship between politics and family, of human virtues in the familial and larger political setting. And so I talk about those as I walk through the epic as well.
Who do you think's more influential on history? So Homer in the Odyssey or Homer Simpson from The Simpsons? Who do you think will have a bigger historical impact?
Yeah, it's good. I do. It's sort of funny to think about the way in which the Odyssey and Homer's works do percolate into our culture. So you get Homer Simpson, of course, and you have different characters named Homer. Of course, I have a growing family, and so we can drive an Odyssey around. And I've seen a bumper sticker saying, "My other car's the Iliad," and I enjoy those jokes. But we get the work. It's ubiquitous. I mean, the Latinized form of the name Odysseus is Ulysses, and we have that running through our culture as well, even in James Joyce's great 20th century novel Ulysses. So it really does have astonishing influence and reach.
I know there's a lot of people, and probably one of the biggest criticisms of Christopher Nolan and the movie, which we haven't seen yet, which is coming out here, is that, okay, you make it too Hollywood and you have the influences of the modern day Hollywood and you infuse those into the messages of something that, is truly a fantastic piece of work. Does that concern you that they'll change it in a certain way that may lose its original meaning?
Yeah, it does concern me. Nolan is obviously, he's a really intelligent filmmaker. He makes some great films. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I'm sure, obviously, it will diverge from Homer's work in all sorts of ways. I guess part of my hope would simply be that Nolan's film sort of raises enough interest that Americans turn back to Homer's work and do actually read it, because it will reward them, and whatever Nolan does, it will be somewhat different than Homer's original. It's a work that rewards reading and rereading. So even if you think you knew it from high school or from college, it's remarkably rich and can show us a lot about sort of human virtue and politics and the good. And so I do hope, my hope is that this actually, Hollywood's Hollywood, but that through the weight and the influence and the ad campaigns, that this really does inspire a sort of resurgence of interest in Homer's work.
There is a Homer's Odyssey episode of The Simpsons, and I think it's season 1. So I wonder how many people, not knowing the original work, will look at that and say, oh, I remember seeing this storyline on The Simpsons. I can't believe they made a movie off of this. Okay, one more time. If people wanted to find the lecture series, it's on YouTube. Just look up Hillsdale College. That's how they'll find it.
And on Hillsdale's online courses, we have a dedicated web page to those courses, and people can log in and sign up for free. And the Odyssey is there. There are a lot of other courses. I know the Iliad is also going to be coming out, and lots of great courses on literature, but also politics, the Constitution, on music, etc. So I think something to suit all tastes.
I think you guys are great. Dr. Benedict Whalen is the chairman and associate professor of English at Hillsdale College. Thank you so much for joining us here in St. Louis and talking about this fine piece of work.
Thanks very much for having me.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Retirement Advisory Group is waiting for your phone call to set up an appointment for a no-cost, no-obligation review of your retirement. Are you in that transitionary period? Are you on the precipice of that transitionary period? You've been working for a long time, and you're ready to make the decisions every day as to how you spend the time that you have with the grandkids, traveling, fishing, sitting and doing nothing and not being bossed around by people anymore, whatever retirement looks like for you. When you reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group and talk to Bob and Tammy Kershaw at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. The Retirement Advisory Group, they're going to hook you up with the opportunity to learn everything you know to fill in all of those gaps so that you can have a worry-free retirement. It's pretty incredible. And all that's waiting on you being able to access that is your phone call to them. 314-993-9494. And everything else you need to know online at retirementkey.com.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? Congress just passed a law to make everything daylight saving time now. That now goes on to the Senate. We'll see where it goes from there. But we want to know what you think on that. Should we do away with the seasonal time changes? And I've got three options. It's yes, keep the standard time. Yes, keep daylight saving time, which is what Congress did. Or no, leave it alone. So the time we want you to vote on that. You can text us at 314-241-9797. You can also leave us a comment on the Annie Frey Show YouTube page. And we might read your comment on the air. That's also where you can vote. Just let us know what you think. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? The time is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
And welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. And Brad, can we start something, maybe a trend with our listeners? And this is what I would encourage anyone to do. If someone has not seen the Odyssey, and it's coming out, and I don't plan on seeing it in the theater. I'm going to skip this in the theater altogether. But if someone hasn't seen it, you say, you know what really ruined it for me is when the Backstreet Boys were performing. It was about a third of the way in. Backstreet Boys start coming in and they start playing Backstreet's Back All Right. And I could not understand why that was in the Odyssey. And they'll say, what are you talking about? Like Christopher Nolan, man, they've tried to put in so many weird things in this movie. I don't understand it. Do you think we can pull everybody's leg into believing that the Backstreet Boys are actually in this movie?
We are going to have to get on it and have something take off. Because if so, that would be fun. And then everybody watching would be like, oh.
Yeah, Backstreet Back's all right. Everything was like, cinematic. And then it was like, why did the Backstreet Boys perform a song in it? I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense.
It's what played when Odysseus walked into his front door after being on that great journey to find all those suitors.
Yeah, that's right. Backstreet Back's all right. And he starts slashing and hacking, and they're playing Backstreet Boys. So please, let's give that a try. And also, go vote in the YouTube live chat poll now if you can. I wanted to go through a couple of findings from Newsbusters Media Research Center. I really like them, and they do a lot of background information on just really the biases that you find in mainstream media. And they did one look at Graham Plattner, and he is the guy from Maine. Plattner is in trouble for a lot of different things. He's kind of stepped aside and suspended. I don't think, did he technically drop out? I think he suspended,
his campaign.
Just in case they find there's enough support for Nazis and literally people with Nazi tattoos inside of the Senate. So Media Research Center decided to go back and look at the coverage about Graham Plattner and all of the allegations that have been coming out for months about him, credible allegations, including the very last bombshell that made him step aside. And this is what they found. Apple News and Google News, two very big aggregates that you find online.
Yeah.
And when I say aggregates, they're like the front page newspaper for a lot of different people because they curate all these different sources together and they determine what's worthy for your eyeballs and what's not. Apple News and Google News ran 0 stories from November through May with headlines about Plattner's mounting controversies, including his Nazi tattoo, his deleted Reddit post, which he called himself a communist, where he denounced America, and he attacked police. The news blackout began during the Democratic Party primary as the first poll indicated that only Plattner would defeat Collins as a hypothetical matchup. And it ended after May 30th, a report of his sexual allegations came to light. Isn't that something?
That's crazy.
You go for months and months and months, and do you think one of these would have broke through? And it goes to show you it's more than just an algorithm picking things. There's someone that is stopping that from getting out there.
Yeah, and it's not it's like fake news isn't always what's said. Sometimes it's what's left unsaid. And like what I want people to imagine is if in the same situation, if there was a Republican candidate that was in the same situation, would the media do those catch and kills, and would they modify the news aggregates to keep that story suppressed? I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it before. I mean, they very much did it with Hunter Biden, and they were open about it. It's like, well, we can't confirm it, so we're going to squash this down with the Hunter Biden laptop. And now they did it with Graham Plattner, allegedly. That, like, I don't understand. Well, I understand why they're doing it, but a free and fair media, one that reports on both sides equally with the same slant, it is so necessary for the survival of our country. And these people are so wrapped up in their political bias that they cannot bring themselves to report the truth, even if it looks bad on their own side.
So here's the question. Is there a precedent of this happening? And the answer is absolutely yes. And you brought it up with the Hunter Biden laptop. We know after the fact that you had high government agencies pressuring tech companies, social media websites to say, don't run this. It is a disinformation act in order to influence the election, when in fact they were the ones that were giving the disinformation act to tell Facebook and Twitter and all these major companies that, hey, don't report on this. And they listened to the government and the ones that were supporting Joe Biden at that time because they hated Donald Trump so much. We go back, we find out absolutely all of these things were true. And even Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook later came out and said, we made a mistake, and here's exactly what they told us. They came down and they sat down and they told us not to run this, and they obliged because it's the federal government. You don't want the U.S. government against you. So when Apple News and Google News run zero stories about this high-profile Democrat who's running for Senate in Maine, and the controversies include Nazi tattoos, deleted posts where he calls himself a communist, where he's denouncing America and he's running for office and he's attacking police through this. This is their leader of the Democratic Party that is at least in that region, and they're using him nationwide. He had a lot of endorsements from high-profile people. Look how great this guy is. So now we go back and look at this and say, who's the one that's telling Apple and Google not to run these things? There is someone, right, that is influencing these big aggregates. And who are these people, and why do they have control over Apple and Google News? That's the question that I think is important, because now you could be treading on illegal grounds here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you have to, I don't know what the rules are for news outlets and aggregates and stuff like that. But if you have a bias, you can't honestly call yourself a news reporter.
Right.
You might be a pundit, you might be a commentator, if you're adding your own spin to the story. And I understand people have their biases, their natural biases, and you'll never be able to fully eliminate those. But you need to at least try if that's how you're going to present yourself as a news organization.
Yep. And at the very least, if anyone's using this as their front page, Apple News or Google News, do not. This is not the place where you're going to want to look for it. There was another study that they did, and this is the Media Research Center. And I think they just do such good work, because this is so much time goes into analyzing different media networks. So they decided to look at PBS and some of the different conservative, liberal breakdowns when it comes to their guests. PBS NewsHour marked its 50th anniversary last year. This is part of their reporting. They say a new Media Research Center study tracked and labeled every guest that appeared on the NewsHour over the first 6 months of 2026. So this is January 1st through June 30th. This is PBS. PBS is pretty liberal, has a liberal bent to it. They're not going to say that. They're going to say, oh, this is PBS. You're giving them a hard time. And then, so here's what they found when it comes to guests on the PBS NewsHour. You think if you were trying to tell both sides of the story, you would welcome both sides of the story on to tell that. They found that the liberal Democratic guest outnumbered conservative Republican guest 234 to 45.
Wow.
So a ratio of 5.2 to every one. 22 appearances by Republican officials and appointees, 7 were coded as anti-Trump, and 31 appearances by Democrats, only 1 was coded as pro-Trump. When elected officials and appointees were removed from the guest count, the disparity between the two were even more striking. Liberal-leaning guests outnumber conservative-leaning guests 203 to 23, a ratio of 8.8 to 1. Not even close. It's not even close when you look at the numbers.
Do you think, well, I think that I certainly would think that conservatives are more willing to go on left-leaning networks. But do you think that there's an element of conservatives just telling them no? I know, like, whenever I'm trying to book guests here, we've had Wesley Bell on, and he is a Democrat. And I'm trying to think of who the other ones were. We've had some, but for the most part, if I reach out to a Democrat party, left-leaning party, or something like that, I get crickets. They will not respond. They will not come on the show. I met, let's see, who was it? Ruben Gallegos' press person whenever I was in D.C., and they were excited about coming on the show, and I don't get much response from them. Do you think that the conservatives are telling these networks, nah, we're not coming on?
Maybe. Let me look at that's a good example, and that's actually raises a good question. Is there sort of this, hey, you're being told not to do it? I would say there's a difference here. So I'll ask this question. Do you look at the Annie Frey Show as a news program?
Do I? Commentary. I mean, we want to keep people informed, but
right.
We're not.
We cover news, but it's commentary, opinion.
Right. We're not hard
entertainment.
News,
Right. So PBS, and this is called the News Hour. So when you are covering news, you have to make, I think, it very clear. You have to find someone from the other side. And if someone declines, you find someone else, because you have to tell both sides if you're an honest news program or an honest news organization. I think when you also have a national type of program, it makes it a lot easier for someone from the other side to come on and say yes, because you get a much larger audience. Now, given the audience of this show versus a national audience, I think sometimes when you ask someone and they don't respond, but if you say, okay, we're calling from News Hour, then maybe they'd be more inclined to pick up the phone. So I would hope that Republicans, conservatives, they would take the opportunity to go on these sort of things. And if one says no, you got to find another one. You can't stop at that. And there's going to be someone that'll come on and even out the number. The big differences in going back to what they found, 234 to 45 shows that they didn't even attempt to do it, honestly. That to me is just such a big, wide gap. There is no way that they couldn't find any conservative to come on their program.
Yeah. I find that crazy. I mean, like even CNN and MS Now, Ms. Now, whatever it's called, they have conservatives that they employ.
What's their pronouns? Ms. and now.
Ms. Now.
Ms. and re.
But like Scott Jennings is a great example of that. He is the conservative voice on CNN. And he goes to absolute war with them, and it makes for like some of the best stuff that CNN has is whenever he's on crossing swords with people from the left. And I think that's necessary. Let people hear both sides. People might listen to it and say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. I don't believe them," but at least they heard it. They heard what Same thing with us. I think our show would sound better if we could get some more voices on here that our listeners wouldn't agree with, and we wouldn't ask them to agree with. We would just ask them to hear him.
Here's the problem with that. Maybe we should go after the break. Can I tell you, just as a radio person, what the problem of that would be? And we'll cover this after the break. Before we go to break real quick, I saw the Odyssey, and I could not believe that the Backstreet Boys performed a song in the movie. I thought at least they would try to keep it accurate to the time and to the story, but there the Backstreet Boys are singing Backstreet Back's All Right in the Odyssey. I could not believe my eyes. Could you? I can't. So many criticisms. That is one that absolutely needs to be pushed to the top. All right. I'm trying. I am trying to get that rumor out there. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Jennings, and what does America mean to me here on our 250th birthday? The future of Western civilization. The future of human liberty. That is what is at stake in our world right now.
America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Todd Sivia of Sivia Law is waiting for your phone call. 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. I have a special offer for you. If you're looking for estate planning services, elder law needs, you can call Todd Sivia at 833-995-WILL and be one of the first 10 callers right now, and you're going to get your initial strategy session free. It's a $300 value. That fee is waived when you call that number, 833-995-WILL, and talk to Todd Sivia about getting your estate plan started. If you haven't done this at all, if you don't have a trust established, if you don't have powers of attorney for your health, for your financial decisions that need to be made, you need to make this phone call right away. Just get a scheduling on the books and mention my name and get that initial strategy session free when you call 833-995-WILL. He has a 2-week turnaround for completed documents from that initial sit-down appointment. So it's not something that's going to take forever, take a bunch of your time. It's going to save you an enormous amount of time and money when your estate doesn't have to go to probate. 833-995-WILL. Find him online at civialaw.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, DC. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Did he say Spider-Man and Friesen? I guess I've never heard the lyrics to this song.
I don't know.
It's like a 90s rap song about Spider-Man. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Reichert. I'm going to have to look up the lyrics to that. A lot of times I have no idea. We got a couple of minutes here, and I want to get your general impression on something. And we mentioned this right before the show. I'm going to mention something, a generalization about liberals, and you can tell me if this is true or false.
Okay.
Liberals that are doing a radio talk show are miserable people, and they're sad and mad about everything all the time, which makes it nearly impossible to enjoy it for an entertainment value.
Are you saying in general? So this isn't an absolute statement. This is just in general?
Just in general, liberal talk show hosts.
I would say some of the big names, I would agree with that. I would think that they seem unhappy and angry all the time.
Right. Unhappy, angry. What fun is that for conservatives who just want to laugh for the most part and make fun, poke fun? Like I think about myself, and I think about, okay, if this was just going to be like a hardline news show, that would not be fun whatsoever. But I want to laugh and joke about the Backstreet Boys being in the Odyssey. And I also want to make fun of, some of the hypocrisies and things that we see out there. But I feel like, for the most part, when it comes to liberal voices, if you pair them together, normally they are such a buzzkill. There's no entertainment whatsoever there. So you almost would have to find someone that had such a strong relationship that at least that would be above the political side of it, even if they disagreed on things. And it's tough to find that organically. It's almost like, just pairing people together. You have to have that sort of thing outside of the context of a show for it to work.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would agree. I don't understand. Like, humor and levity is one of the things that I think that our show does well. We do the news, but life's too short to be just livid and angry and fuming all the time. And there are conservative shows that do that as well. But that's one of our goals is to allow you, the listener out there, to exhale, to hear the news, but then also be able to listen and tune in and be like, okay, it's not the end of the world, but these are important items. I don't think that the main people on the left have that capability, because it's so much more part of their belief system than it is on a conservative.
So this is the next question. Is it the modern left that has a problem with it? Because I'm going to use this as an example. When I listen to Mark Reardon and Jane Duker, that's like a perfect example of something that works great. And I don't look at her as a modern progressive liberal compared to maybe 30 years ago. She might have been looked at that way, but in today's context, she's like an independent compared to the way the Democratic parties move. And a lot of times, same thing on both parties. Like conservatives, you could look at yourself as an independent based on the way it's moved so far left in some of the mainstream politics. So that's the type of person that would be wanting to get onto a show anymore. And they are, to me, there's no entertainment value, and it's just miserable sounding. That's what I find in today's modern landscape of media, and that's why it doesn't work as much.
Yeah, I definitely think it's more of a modern phenomenon. I think that it really, for me, it really picked up in Bush's first term, W's, because I think that's when I first noticed people starting to do angry commentary, calling names, pretentious cowboy, he's a fascist. They used all of those terms for him, and it really then whenever Donald Trump came down that elevator, well, even when Barack Obama was president, it became a thing to call every person who didn't vote for him a racist. Like, they couldn't comprehend that maybe you didn't like his stances or his policies, and it had nothing to do with his race. If you voted against him, you were a racist because you didn't like black people. That's insane. So I think that is a fairly modern thing, because I also seen, you look at Johnny Carson. That man had people on from both sides of the aisle, and I don't really know what his political leanings were. He was just interested in having fun and doing funny things.
I know. The interest of being funny and having fun, that's a novel concept. I think you see it on some conservative shows. More likely, if you were to look between the two, you'd find it a lot easier on conservative show versus liberal. And, maybe we just all need to rap about Spider-Man more, like the song on the Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
Match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog. Well, they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh, no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
If this is the year you're going to upgrade your backyard, call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. It's Mark Cox here. ChesterfieldFence.com is the easy website for you to get to. You go there, they're going to give you a free in-home estimate. They're going to give you free project design. And right now, when you mention my name, they will give you 48 months same as cash financing. Think about that. You get the job done now. You take your time paying for it. You don't pay any penalties and interest. You just get your backyard looking great. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. Of course, they do wood fences and decks. They can do the composite decks that are basically maintenance free, and they can do that for the fencing as well. But maybe you've got something bigger in mind. Maybe you're going to put in a sunroom. You're going to put in an all-season room, maybe a pergola in the backyard or a new fireplace. You can trust my friends at Chesterfield Fence. They've been doing this since 1968. They take a lot of pride in what they do. Check out their reviews online. Tell them Mark sent you. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal, or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Back and forth with Iran. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
After speaking with the president, it is clear that he is no longer negotiating at this moment. He is striking.
Fox's Trey Ying's today after his White House interview with President Trump, who says U.S. strikes will expand. There were daytime strikes earlier today, and they're getting closer to energy sites the president says he's willing to hit by next week if the Iranians are unwilling to make a deal. But back channels do exist.
I asked the president, when was the last time you spoke with an Iranian official? And he said, my team spoke with Iranian officials an hour ago. And it gives you a sense of the real-time updates that the administration is getting and also the warnings that they are delivering behind the scenes. You also have these other regional players, Pakistan and Qatar, that are continuing each and every day to try to bring both sides back to the negotiating table and reach a more stable agreement. But the memorandum of understanding was a relatively stable agreement, and it was violated. And so the question is, could they reach another deal that ultimately the Iranians will adhere to?
A U.S. blockade of Iranian ports is back in effect. Central Command says so far 2 commercial ships have been redirected. Iran's health ministry says recent U.S. strikes have killed at least 35 people, wounding more than 300. The U.S. military denies striking a civilian wheat storage facility yesterday. At his confirmation hearing, acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche denying allegations he would use the Justice Department for political purposes, pressed by Democrats, including Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, on a number of issues.
Will you commit to following clear federal law and not deploying federal agents to polling locations?
I will commit to following the law, Senator, of course.
Okay,
yes.
But does that include not deploying federal agents to polling places?
I will absolutely follow the law, no matter what it includes.
Blanche also telling lawmakers he takes responsibility for mistakes made during the release of the Epstein files. America is listening to Fox News.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a US-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Lots of sunshine around town on this Wednesday afternoon. 91 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 74. Thursday and Friday, a summertime pattern, though nothing extreme. Summer is back. Partly sunny skies, hot and humid. 93 each day, Thursday and Friday, and each day will bring some spot thunderstorms, mainly afternoon variety. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your air conditioner needs service anytime, day or night, Air Comfort Service has almost 60 years of experience and is family-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
And welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie today, along with Brad. And Brad, I like your T-shirt. I'm 1791% sure.
This was a gift from Annie, and
I love it. She has great
was
taste.
Right.
I was looking at some reviews of the Odyssey during the break, and could you believe that the Backstreet Boys have a cameo right in the middle of it?
Really?
They start performing. Can you believe that? Just when I thought that they couldn't be any more inaccurate when it comes to the historical side of the movie, the Backstreet Boys perform a song right in the middle of it.
Was Justin Timberlake one of the suitors of
he was not, because that would
Odysseus'
be
wife?
NSYNC.
Oh, wrong one. Yeah, I don't know any of the Backstreet Boys. Name a Backstreet Boy? Holy cow.
I don't know. AJ? That might be NSYNC.
I don't know. If you do, I'm going to take your man card.
It's something like that. But that song we played, I think the song they performed in the movie, Backstreet Back All Right. Nothing more historically accurate than that inside the Odyssey. And a few things I want to get to, and I know we have the YouTube live chat poll up. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? And that's a big controversy right now. We haven't really discussed that. Maybe we'll wait till later, but I also find that is something a lot of people cheer for. That'd be nice not have to switch around the sleep schedule, but at the same time, there's people upset about it. Teachers and schools, administrators and farmers. And there's just people that generally don't want to live in the dark all day. So that could be a part of it too. So go ahead and vote now. You have a couple of options. Yes, keep standard time. Yes, keep daylight saving time. Or no, leave it alone. You know what I hate, and people listening here, I'm going to direct this at you, the listener. If someone says daylight savings with an S and you get on their back, I hate you for doing that. Do not correct someone if they say daylight savings time. Actually, just don't be that person. In particular, if they're a broadcaster that says it. It's so annoying, Ryan, when
it's okay.
The correction's there.
It's okay. I don't know what happened to you. I don't know who hurt you, but it's okay, Ryan.
There's a couple of things that listeners will do at radio stations that's almost a guarantee. That, and when it's raining, they'll call into the newsroom and they'll say, tell people to turn their lights on. It's a guarantee every time. If you say daylight savings time or it's raining, those two things are guaranteed to happen. Can I read something that happened on The View? Because I know you love The View. I think it's one of your favorite shows.
Yeah, I like to watch it and get angry.
Co-host Sunny Hostin is standing by her comments that she made on Monday, saying that she feels unsafe in neighborhoods with many American flags.
Man.
Does that make you feel uneasy if you go into a neighborhood and there's a bunch of American flags on display?
No, it makes me happy.
Not at all. It makes me feel good. I'm like, this is great. I love seeing this. I'll point it out to my kids. Look at this. This is great. I'll tell you that Dan Buck is probably Sunny Hostin's number one enemy because he goes around putting flags up on his neighbors' homes. Did you hear what he does?
Who? Dan Buck? Who?
Yeah. Am I getting the name mixed up? I'm sorry.
No.
Fills in and does the stuff on the Mark
Dan
Cox
Buck.
Morning Show.
I wasn't expecting the Dan Buck reference in our show. He puts flags up on other people's houses?
So for the 4th of July, he went to a hardware store and he bought them out of the flagpoles and flags.
Okay.
And he put it on the neighborhood group. Anyone that wants a free flag on your house, send me a message. And he went around installing them on homes in his neighborhood.
That's American.
Tell me that
right
isn't.
there.
I absolutely am in love with that idea. So basically, he is the opposite of Sonny Hostin.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, that makes me even more proud of him because I know the person that's the opposite of Sonny Hostin.
Yeah, the polar opposite.
Right. She feels uneasy in a neighborhood with too many flags. Okay. American flags in particular.
Did she drill down or explain that or anything like that? Or no?
She was on a podcast called Behind the Table.
Mhm.
I'm guessing it's so is it a podcast where they talk about the View?
It's a View podcast about the View. So they get the different hosts on, or I guess host is the right word, the ladies from the View on to talk about. I think they do it maybe once a month.
Yeah. During the View last week, while discussing celebration for America's 250th anniversary, Hostin recalled a previous occasion when she said on the show that she feels uncomfortable in neighborhoods with numerous American flags. This is part of the podcast, I guess she brought it up. She said, I said this on the show because this is my 10th year on the show. I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community and I suddenly feel unsafe because there's a section of the country that has co-opted the American flag and they equate being American or an American flag with white supremacy. And that should never be a symbol of white supremacy because they have weaponized it.
I hate when the left says, the extreme right co-opted the flag. No, they didn't. You guys abandoned it. You abandoned it. You let it go. You know, it's just like, oh, no, it's a sign of nationalism, and that's bad, blah, blah, blah. Pride in your country? Why? Because of where you were born? The left 100% abandoned the American flag. So if there's any political lean to the American flag, which I look at American flag, and I tend to think that that person would be conservative based on the left's attitude toward the flag the past 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10 years, that's where that came from. It came from their behavior, not before. When I was little, when I saw an American flag, do you know what I thought about the person that lived there?
I like that guy.
Nothing. I didn't think anything about it. It's normal behavior. They've got an American flag on their house in the United States of America. That's normal behavior. That was normal behavior. And now they turn it into it's a symbol of white supremacy because they ran from it and normal everyday Americans said, no, that's our flag and we like it. And so normal Americans did it. Right-wing Americans kept it, and the leftists were like, oh, it's white supremacy, and they abandoned it, and now they're mad that normal Americans are going, no, we want to fly the flag.
Right. Let's look at what other alternatives would be. Okay, no flag, but would she feel more comfortable if it was Black Lives Matter signs all across the neighborhood? Or would she feel more comfortable if maybe, I don't know, they were burning flags in some parts of the neighborhood? Is that kind of the opposite of what I can think of the American flag? Is that something that would be a more of comfort level for her?
Well, I would say so. I mean, if you look at how the Biden administration treated the flag, they said, yeah, you can fly the American flag at the embassy, but you also need these other flags with it to show inclusivity.
So
I mean,
stupid.
was it around Easter whenever they had that person there, that trans person that took her or his top off on the White House grounds?
Yeah, so
but do you remember,
gross.
like, on the White House,
Yeah.
the what do you call those flags were flying? The pride flags were flying from the White House. They
Right.
didn't hang American flags. Donald Trump put a gold eagle on the balcony of the White House for the America 250 celebration, and
Right.
people lost their ever-loving minds saying it was a Nazi symbol. And it's like, have you guys even seen the presidential seal?
Yeah. I remember when Donald Trump went back into office, and one of the first things he did, he installed 2 massive flagpoles
Yes.
on the White House grounds because we can fly the American flag. I like that. She would not feel comfortable at the
No.
White House now, would she?
No. You know what? They were building that flagpole whenever I was out in D.C. last year.
Mhm.
And, like, it was a cool thing for me to see. You know, they were tearing down. I think they had the Army's 250th parade the weekend before we arrived. It was a very cool experience to go out there and to see all of that stuff. And to see it was in the transition from whatever it was before to this new proud to be an American phase of the country and of the government. And I was so happy to see it.
Kind of got lucky you get to witness some of those things. How was it the reflecting pool? Did you get to see that?
It was when I was out there before they did anything to it, it was nasty and green and covered in grime.
Was it?
Yeah.
They're trying to fix it again. It takes some effort to keep that thing looking nice. Anyone that's ever had a pool, you know what that's like, man. It's hard to stay on top of that, and that's a lot of water to have to treat. And it doesn't help when other people are trying to vandalize it at the same time. Like, let's say your neighbor, you're out there working on the pool, and your neighbor is out there trying to sabotage your work every day. I wouldn't want that. It'd be even harder to deal with it. One of the things, and this is the poll that is up right now when it comes to daylight saving time, and the House passes the bill that would make daylight saving time permanent. I didn't say saving time permanent, just in case you're thinking about emailing the show. Or maybe as equally as annoying, if you don't say nuclear correctly. If you say, like, the George W. Bush got killed for saying it nuclear. No, he said nuclear with the U, nuclear. And forever and for out of time, and they thought he was the dumbest president of all time because he said nuclear instead of nuclear or whatever. We got to drop that too. So daylight saving time, making it permanent. Legislation heads to the Senate. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but I kind of like the idea of just keeping things standard and on the same clock. You don't have to change things over and over again. I like that idea. It's convenient for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I don't. I think that doesn't bother you.
I think there's a reason for the changes, and I think that we should have the changes. I mean, it's a minor inconvenience for 2 days out of the year.
Oh, this is from someone that doesn't have kids. Now, it's more than just 2 days when you have the kids.
I mean, I worked in education, and I understand where they have to stand in the bus stop in the winter whenever school's in, and how this will change that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that people aren't thinking about, and I don't want to change my clock.
So you're saying leave it alone. That's the poll right now. YouTube live chat poll. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? That's a big question that the Senate will have to answer now that it's passed the House, and we'll get the results coming up later in the show. Now, we talked a little bit about Iran at the start of the show. Dr. Jacob Olidort is going to be joining us. He's the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. He's about 45 minutes away, so we'll get him at the start of the 2 o'clock hour. So we'll talk some more Iran coming up after the break. Taxpayers are going to be paying for the lawyers of the accused Charlie Kirk killer, and a lot of people are upset about that. And did you hear about this one Canadian lady? She made a mistake on the Jersey Shore, so we'll talk about that too. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey, 97.1 FM Talk.
License number GL250000615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake, led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job. Cut the Bull PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative.
And welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. Thank you for everyone voting in the YouTube live chat poll. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? I think this is a 50-50 toss-up. This could go either way, so every vote will count on this one. You should head over to the YouTube live chat poll and do that now. So, do you want to talk about the Jersey Shore, or do you want to talk about the Charlie Kirk bill for taxpayers?
Let's go with the Charlie Kirk thing first.
Okay, this is good. Utah taxpayers, and this is New York Post, could end up shilling more than $10 million for Tyler Robinson's lawyers to defend him in Charlie Kirk's assassination. First thing that came to mind, what kind of lawyers are they hiring, and why are taxpayers paying for this? Are public prosecutors, are they this expensive? Because I've seen Better Call Saul, and they are like fighting with the clerks inside of a courthouse saying, hey, you didn't pay me the right amount. It's like always a little amount. If you're a public defender, it's not very lucrative.
Right.
How are they spending $10 million on this defense? And who's getting paid for taxpayer money? Because I thought the family was pretty rich. Can't they afford their own attorney for this?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to pay for their son's attorney. Maybe they believe that he did it and he should just admit to it.
Yeah, he's his own person, I guess. You think there could be some sort of plea happening? Possibly, maybe. That could be.
I don't know. I think the only way they could get a plea is if they could take the death penalty off the table.
I don't think they should. I don't think so.
Nope.
So the whopping potential cost is possible because of the nature of such the capital murder case, where the stakes are as high as they get with the defendant's life on the line, and there are likely years of appeals upon conviction. So maybe they're putting in the cost if they draw this out over years with appeal after appeal after appeal. Utah County Commission approved the initial $1 million in funding last year to pay the salaries of both Robinson's high-profile lawyers and the prosecutors on the case. So I guess that would be split between the two. I didn't take that into consideration. So that seems crazy to me, that a public defender, maybe I can see like the Attorney General's office, whoever may be taking this up, this is part of their salary. So maybe you're hiring people on top of this. It seems like if you're bringing a case up on behalf of the state, then you shouldn't be throwing extra money on top of it. You're using resources that are there, right?
Well, yeah, and everybody that gets the public defender should have the same access to the same type of resources for their, vigorous defense that everybody's entitled to, which is why we offer a public defender. Mm-hmm. So I think that...
So you're saying the drug dealers aren't getting the same access as Tyler Robinson?
Geez, I've never heard of a drug dealer saying that they had $10 million in legal defense expenses. That is a great question. Where is this money going? Or is this what they get on these trials with public defenders? Because if that's how much they're spending, that's more than I could ever afford for a lawyer.
Yeah, this is a good Jane Duker question. If she's listening right now, maybe this can come up at some point during Mark Reardon's show. I don't know the next time she's on, but the Reardon Roundtable would be at least a few days away. But the $10 million to me just seems outrageous that they would be spending that much resources. I understand the time. You can spend the time, and it's going to take time for a case like this. And you have a week that they laid out the case. The probable cause was very clear and could have been met, like our guest said on Monday, could have been met probably easily on the first day, not even question, but they put this out over 5 days, leaving nothing left unsaid. So this case is going to be a big one. He, high profile security, I understand that. I don't know how much of that is going to security, but $10 million, it just seems a little excessive. All right, let's go to the Jersey Shore, because back in the day, I know that you were a big fan of MTV and Jersey Shore, so you did some sightseeing, much like you went to Washington, D.C. to see the sights for America's 250. Back in the day, I heard you also went to the Jersey Shore to see if you can spot the situation in Snooki.
Now, I'm going to stop you right there. I have not gone to the Jersey Shore, but I have seen Snooki in person.
You have not.
I have. And I wouldn't have known it was her had I not been with Hannah from the morning show, the Brett Mega Morning Show, back whenever she was with our show. Our show took a trip to Disney for its 5th anniversary. And while we were out there, we got on the elevator. We got on an elevator, and we were going down to get on the boat to go over to, I think it was Epcot at the time. But when we were on the boat, we were standing behind this guy who was pushing a stroller. And Hannah just kind of had this look on her face like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So the guy gets off and goes away, and she's like, that was Snooki's husband. They're like, no way.
How do you know Snooki's
why
husband?
do you know that? Well, apparently Snooki had a cosmetic line or some sort of product line that Hannah was using and was a big fan of. But then later on in the trip, we were coming back from Hollywood Studios, and the property that we were staying at, you could take a boat ride from Hollywood Studios to the property. Well, we get on the boat, and the last person to get on the boat is this lady who's kind of holding this baby up real high by her face and kind of tucking her face down behind the baby's shoulder and whatnot, so you couldn't really see it, and that was Snooki. And
no way.
So we did what every good Midwesterner does.
You yelled her name?
No, we just pretended like we didn't see her. We gave her privacy. But yeah, she was definitely, we rode the boat back from Hollywood Studio with her, and again, wouldn't have noticed it had Hannah not been like, that's Snooki.
I think it's hilarious that she prefers Snooki's line of cosmetics.
I think it's good stuff. To hear her talk about it, it must have been pretty good stuff. So,
all right, going back to the Jersey Shore, have you heard this story of what happened to Caitlin Tracy, 33 years old? And Caitlin is from Canada, visiting the United States, and of all the sights to see, the New Jersey Boardwalk in Atlantic City, I guess, is the way to go. Heading to the Jersey Shore for the 4th of July holiday weekend. Of all the places, the historic places to visit in America on the 4th of July, she skips Philadelphia, she skips Boston, she skips Washington, D.C., she goes for the Jersey shoreline. And while at the beach, there were 2 children, these are minors, that were wearing like flag pants, and they wore like a Trump shirts.
Okay.
2 minors. And this Canadian tourist took exception to that and slapped the kids. And she decided to run after that. But guess what? There's a lot of cameras that are out there. Surveillance caught her, and they were able to identify Tracy for the assaults. And then when she fled the scene, police caught up with her.
Yeah.
They obtained a warrant. They arrested her. And now you can see Caitlin Tracy's mugshot as she's charged with assault endangering the welfare of a child. And the thing is, since she's from Canada and she commits this crime, now you're talking about this is a whole ordeal.
Yes. What a piece of crap. What is wrong with these people? You asked me earlier in the show, do you think that leftists are genuinely happy or angry?
They hate everything.
To walk up to a stranger wearing a flag
on their home soil.
Yes, in their country, looking at them, being offended by them wearing their flag on their trunks, and then them being offended by their president and having gear and supporting their president, and then on top of that, them being minors, to have the audacity to slap them.
Yep. Now, she's married, so her husband went to social media, and as you can imagine, was anti-ice at this time. It was ICE's fault.
This was ICE's fault that your wife slapped a child.
This is all ICE's fault, and I'm being persecuted by ICE because I'm a foreigner.
Husbands, you are not a good husband if you defend your wife in that situation. Your job is to be the man of the household and apologize on her behalf.
Right. Ooh,
it is not ICE's fault. My wife, she's probably listening right now. I promise you, if she did something like that, I would be like, this is embarrassing, and it would not be a good day in the Range household.
So that's not a surprise. Here's also not a surprise. He said, I need to start a GoFundMe for my wife's legal expenses because the MAGA supporters are out there trying to give us a hard time. The ICE supporters are out there giving us a hard time.
You assaulted a child. You assaulted a child. It's not MAGA's fault you slapped a child. It's your fault you slapped a child.
So she's scheduled to appear in court August 4th, according to court records. So I'm guessing they're detaining her until then.
Throw the book at her.
The vacation she thought she would be having in the United States.
Throw the book at that Looney Tune.
Yeah, no kidding. I know it's assault of a child. It's not murder. I get that. But listen, by the time August 4th rolls around, she'll make bond. She'll probably leave the country and never be welcome back. That'll probably be how this resolves itself.
Yeah, I think it'll be like a legal revocation of her ability to travel to the United States.
Yep. What a story. What a story. They're an international sensation right now, too. Does it surprise you that they blamed ICE in a situation like this? It was ICE's fault.
No, it doesn't surprise me. Take no personal responsibility whatsoever. Who can I blame it on? Listen, if they hadn't made me mad by wearing stuff of the people I don't like, I wouldn't have hit them.
Yep.
Give me a break.
That's just a great story. All right, coming up after the break, anti-aging as anti-life is an interesting way of thought, an article, and opinion piece in The Guardian. I wanted to talk to you about that. Go and vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? This is a 50-50 close one. I don't know where it's at right now with this audience, but if you haven't voted yet on YouTube, you should go do that. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey, 97.1 FM Talk.
Point Pest Control, online at pointpestcontrol.com. Don't forget to spell point with an E. Point Pest Control is ready to take your phone call and help you combat the pests that have crept into your home. Get rid of them with Point Pest Control. 636-798-0023. That's 636-798-0023. Point Pest Control on both sides of the river in Illinois and Missouri will make sure that you get rid of those ants, those spiders, crickets, mice, whatever the pest is that is plaguing your home. If there are a lot of them or if there are just a few of them, and you like me, one spider is one spider too many, call Point Pest Control and take care of the problem. They also do residential and commercial services, a whole bunch of the businesses that you patronize, restaurants, shops, they use Point Pest Control for their pest services. So call and find out what they can do for you. Become a Premier Service Plan subscriber like I am. Mention Annie and save 10%. 636-798-0023. 636-798-0023 online at pointpestcontrol.com.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed. Your property taxed. Everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
If you're a business or brand that's still paying for ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust because stationary billboards are a bust. big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it, you can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
All right, today's YouTube live chat poll. Should we do away with seasonal time changes? I've been monitoring the chat. I've been monitoring the text lines. Ryan, there's a couple texts here, one in particular that is targeted at you, but this person says, yes, as long as it's not dark at 4:30, it stays a little bit longer. That's from the 314. This person from the 609 says, we love daylight savings time. All right. Somebody else from a 636 number says, absolutely do away with the time change. I really liked this comment on the YouTube page from George. George says, I work full-time and have a farm. If we adopt permanent daylight savings time, it will allow me to be more productive by giving me more daylight hours after working my day job. So there's a farmer right there who says that they are in favor of permanent daylight saving time. And so we want to know what you think. Should we do away with the seasonal time changes? Congress has passed a law, and it would make daylight saving time permanent. But we have three options for you. Yes, keep it standard. Yes, keep daylight saving time. Or no, leave it alone. We want to know what you think, so keep those texts coming. Keep those messages coming. We'll be looking at them, monitoring them, and read them on the air. The time is 1:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From O'Fallon, Missouri to O'Fallon, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I think they play this one in the Odyssey too, don't they? I think they do. I think the Backstreet Boys come first, and this is the closing credits song.
Just wrap it up. Oh, that would be
Odyssey.
That would be the worst credits song for that movie.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Troll of the audience. Let's play the Dancing Queen in the credits. They have like orchestra, the whole thing, and Backstreet Boys in the middle. And then they play Dancing Queen at the very end. Listen, when you go see the Odyssey, and I don't know how many people are, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of people that see it. I'm telling you, just be prepared. Backstreet Boys have a number in the middle of this thing, and it takes everyone by surprise. You're not going to believe it either. And the historical accuracy goes out the window at that point. All right, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm trying so hard to start that rumor. I think it's landing a little bit. So the Dancing Queen's just one side of it. I like the text messages, people making fun of me for daylight savings time and getting so annoyed by it. Thank you for people pointing out that it's okay to say the yes on it without the criticisms. I think they're on my side for that one. That's the way I read that text message, Brad. I'm going to give you the definition of ageism, and keep that in context to this story. Ageism is stereotyping, prejudice, or discrimination against individuals based on their age.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you expect the definition of ageism to be. There was an article on The Guardian, and it says, anti-aging is anti-life. Why longevity culture is just ageism in a lab coats. I think this is maybe a difference between men and women, and I find there's a lot of differences between us no matter what those on the left say. So it says, rapid scientific progress has given us the tools to stop time more convincingly than ever, but lurking behind these claims is the same fear of aging. So they basically say, when they're looking at the way people age, they say, in terms of how we describe where we want to freeze ourselves, by the time we get to about 30 or 40, we want to never age past that point. We want that to be about, at least for our look's sake, to look like we're 30, 40 for the rest of your life. And people go through some great lengths, and they spend a lot of money And there's a lot of pressures, and social media is a big pressure for that too, that they want to stretch out their looks as long as they can and try to stay at least in that frame where people kind of like, oh, you look 30 or 40, 35, 40. And it says, unlike prior older generations who viewed retirement, leisure, and relaxation as the reward for a lifetime of hard work, they don't see old age as a time of inactivity. Instead, they want to remain active and be able to work and play hard well into their 80s and 90s. They say boomers' cultural approach to aging might result in denial about aging and a desire to look and feel younger. So this is where I think I read this. There's one other excerpt here. I should have highlighted it, but I'm looking at it on the computer, so I'm going to have to paraphrase with this. But essentially what they're saying is, based on the trends here, people are going through these great lengths to try to look younger and younger, and you're not doing yourself any service for doing that. What I took from this article is that the older I get, I don't care that I look older. I want to feel like I'm 35 and not have back pains. That's the only thing I care about. Do you think that's a male and female thing? Because reading this article, I get the impression that people are doing everything they can to try to look like they're 35 and 40, and they're kind of frozen in time at that age. But for me, I just want to party like I can wake up without back pain like I'm 38. That's what I yearn for.
Yeah.
Do you find that's a pretty fair assessment?
I think I mean, that's my concern with it. And so maybe it is. I mean, I have heard women talking about the aches and pains, but I don't know if their concern more is on the outside or on the inside whenever it comes to aging. I hate the idea that the argument of the article seems to be very much as like, you just don't want to look old and that's why you do it. And it's like, that's spoken like somebody that hasn't started aging or hasn't understood what happens when you get older. Like, have you heard somebody talk positively about aging?
Yeah, all the time. Wisdom. I mean, when you get older, I hear a lot of people say they wouldn't trade anything for the things and the experiences that they've had. Some people say, I wish I can go back and be 18 again and start over. And they're like, you know what? I wouldn't want to give up everything I've learned between that point. So it's not worth it. They don't want to give up the wisdom and things that they've done.
But
I've heard people positively say, that's a pro aging
yes,
thing.
But if you ask those same people, it's like, hey, if you could do things that would, stop the aches and pains in the morning, the lingering injuries, that sort of thing, if you could do that, would you?
Would I stop? Yeah.
I mean,
there are things I can do. Let me put it this way. There's things I could probably be doing right now that would help me, like not eating McDonald's.
That might help, yeah.
That would probably be a number one. So things like that I could probably be doing. I'm not doing it right now, so I don't know. I don't know if there were an option if I would do it anyway.
But like the wisdom comes with years and experience, and that's not necessarily part of aging. That's part of longevity, just, doing things. And there are people who are younger that have a lot more life experience than other people their same age, and that wisdom they've had wisdom there. But I mean, like the degradation of your body as you get older. Like I'll give you an example. I've had tennis elbow. I was doing a weightlifting program and I was doing some curls and stuff like that, and I just developed this nagging tennis elbow injury. I've had it since February. It's not gone yet. It's slowly getting better, but these injuries get long. Like whenever I was younger, that would heal up faster. I wouldn't have to deal with it as long. I don't think that that's ageist. I don't think that there's anything wrong with not wanting your body to break down over time. And
what about on the look side of it, though? Let's say you're trying to not look your age. Is that ageism?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Ageism against yourself?
It's not. I mean, you're not doing it against anybody because it doesn't have to deal with anybody else's particular look at a certain age. It deals with yours. So some people look great in their 40s and 50s, and other people don't. And those people, or other people think that they don't. And those people are more than welcome to do things that they want with their own, looks that will help them feel better about themselves. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. I'll tell you, I had pulled something in my back last week. I'm still feeling it. Mm-hmm. It's been a week. And that's part of getting old. It's something I never would have comprehended when I was younger because, I could throw myself down the steps when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have any repercussion for that. It would look like Homer Simpson falling down a cliff. And you'd get up and like, oh, okay, I guess I'm done. And that was it. So now I use a massage gun on my back for too long. it pulls something and it hurts for a week. That's the life I'm in right now.
I'm not looking to live forever, but I'm also wanting to live the best life that I can. And I think that if that means taking supplements or whatever so that you feel better as you get older, you age more gracefully, I think that there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you obviously do hate yourself because you keep working on these kit cars and things that hate you. So you're abusing yourself that way.
It's the challenge. That's what I like about it. The irritation, the cuts on rusty metal, it's all great and fun.
Trying to get into parts that your hand's not meant to get there, but you got to put it in there anyway. You get pure desperation. You don't care. You could break your leg trying to fix a part after a certain time. As long as you get it done, you're thinking it's worth the
hobbling out of the garage to the hospital.
You'll hobble out of the garage.
But it's on there.
Yeah, but I got that part out. There's another story I saw here. Did you see that Hunter Biden and Nick, is it Fuentes? Yeah. I only know him based on people that write articles about him. I don't think I've ever seen him talk. Like, I've never seen a video of him. Do you know much about him, Nick Fuentes?
Yeah, super far right. But he's also said recently that he was going to vote for Democrats because he believes the Republicans are betraying his cause or whatever. But he's, I would say he's anti-Semitic. He's got a lot of problems.
So he recently sat down with Hunter Biden and did an interview. How do you think that went? You want to guess?
I don't know. Did it come to blows? I feel like those two wouldn't get along.
Citing sources familiar with the situation, which third-party people have backed up, they said it nearly came to blows.
Oh, my gosh.
They physically almost got into a fight. So the interesting thing about this whole article is they don't say what they got into a fight over, but they mention that by the end of the interview, they found common ground and that they were fine. Like it wasn't all friction. It was actually finding common ground in a lot of it between Hunter Biden and Nick.
Yep. I think what they call it is the horseshoe theory. I don't know if you've heard this or not. But
what is that?
But the distance between left and right isn't a straight line. Rather, it's a horseshoe. So if you go really far right or really far left, instead of going away from one another, you actually loop around and you come closer to touching.
That's right.
And like one of the things that they point out in that is the support that you see for Hamas on the left and the far right.
Yeah. What was it? There was a bit on the internet. It was a comedian by the name of Ryan Long where progressives and conservatives actually agree. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it was racist and progressives, and they would
racist and progressive.
Would start talking, and they'd finish the sentence together, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah,
racist and progressives agree. I got to find the bits on that. Okay, because the part of it was hilarious, where they actually agree on things. Because I can't play the video because there's swear words and things. Yeah. But basically the things that they were saying were just absolutely hilarious. Maybe I'll have to try to find some of these during the break because it became a viral sensation and the things they were saying were just so good. The observations were great.
Yeah.
I think when you're a comedian, there's probably one thing you're known for. That's got to be the thing he's going to be known for.
Ryan Long is known for being on the front edge of controversy as far as that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to find that script, and maybe I'll bring some of those examples coming up after the break. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Brad. I saw the Odyssey, and the Backstreet Boys have a piece right in the middle of this movie. And I kept thinking, of all the things they've been criticizing them about, and rightfully so, no one's brought up the Backstreet Boy thing yet, which really puzzles me because that seemed way out of place.
Just layers of ridiculousness in that movie.
I know, just... Why would you have to include the Backstreet Boys when you did? It just doesn't fit. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey, 97.1 FM Talk.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you could all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Injured in a rideshare accident? Whether you're driving or riding, Kaufman Townsley knows how to handle these tough cases. We fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-777-7777.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. I'm with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage, and if you're thinking about refinancing, he has some great advice.
Mark, this is a great time to refinance. If you financed over the last 3 years, you're probably paying a higher rate. Take advantage now. Refinance with the Bagel Loan. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, nothing. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. For those of you folks that are waiting on the sideline saying, hey, maybe the rates will go down more, I'm going to wait. Take advantage now. A bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. Refinance, get the cash out you need, get a lower rate, maybe even go from a 30 to a 20 year and keep that payment the same. All with the Bagel Loan.
This is a quick process, right?
We close in 10 days. We send a notary out to your house to close so you don't have to take off any time from work. It's easy. It's simple. Bing, bang, boom. Your home is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. Deal with somebody local, somebody has a reputation, somebody has accountability. I'm here in town. You can call me or text me after hours, weekends, whenever it's convenient for you.
Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
If you like that comfortable setting to hang out where people know your name, check out Lit Cigar Lounge. My friends at Lit Cigar Lounge are fantastic. Brian and Dana and Andrew and Charlie and Nick and all of them down there are going to get to know you by name because it is a family-run business in the Chesterfield Valley and the district. They've got an extensive selection of bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails and some of the best hand-rolled cigars from around the world. Check them out at the district or go online to litstl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I looked everywhere for that script. I couldn't find a transcript. I went to the original YouTube video, and they can put transcribe on the screen, and it's all in Chinese. So I think someone hijacked that.
That's
hijacked the
unfortunate.
video transcript. Yeah, but it was. I remember watching that and thinking, where the woke and racist agree, it was hilarious. The things, because what they said were absolutely true. In a lot of ways, it's because it's probably easy to point out where a lot of the woke things and the ideologies that they have are truly racist. So let's look at a couple of other things going on here. And I know we're going to talk Iran in the next hour. And part of it is with Dr. Jacob Olidort. He's the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. We're going to talk to him a little bit after 2 o'clock here, so 15 minutes from now. Maybe we can play a couple of clips, which I think would be good. Did you see that Joe Biden has a new book that's coming out?
I did see this.
Some controversy. Can we play clip number 5?
I've written a book about my time as president. It's called Promise Me America. It's coming out in November. And it's available for pre-order now.
Oh, boy. He doesn't sound good.
It's about the challenges we faced as a nation, about the decisions I made, and why I made them. Leading the country through COVID, rebuilding our economy, and restoring our democracy after the attack on January 6th. Ending our nation's longest war in Afghanistan. Strengthening NATO.
What did you say there? Can we pause it for a second?
Ukraine.
I don't know if we can go back to that one spot where he said, Afghanistan.
I can
Can we
translate
rewind
that
it?
for you. Yeah.
I would
Let me
like
see
to
if I
hear
can
that
go
again.
back.
Yeah, let's see if we can translate that part.
Right about here.
Strengthening NATO and supporting Ukraine. It's about why I chose to run for re-election and why I chose to step aside back on January 6th.
There it is.
Ending our nation's longest war in Afghanistan. Strengthening NATO.
in Afghanistan.
Okay.
What did he?
I think
can
he
you
said.
transcribe that
Yeah,
for
I
me?
think he said ending our nation's longest war in Afghanistan.
What is he saying? You notice this, and as someone that has a trained ear that works with audio every day in my life, being in radio, I can tell when they edit things together. Notice that he says 5 or 7 words at a time, and then they have to pause.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he can't read a script straight through, and he is incapable of doing it. How many takes do you think it took for him to do that?
If every one of those breaks is a take, at least 7. I mean, if the total clip,
each 5 words, he has to say 7 times for it to to work.
and that's not to say that there weren't recuts of it or reruns of it that were left on the floor, but just at those cuts, the clip is about 1 minute 24 seconds long.
100 minute Afghanistan.
Yeah, true international to pressure.
Can you rewind it again? I want to give it one more try to understand what he's saying. I don't know if you have that marker at the spot where he says it. It's around here somewhere.
Let's see if I can get it here. It is about
about the decisions I made and why I made them. Leading the country through COVID.
Okay, I understand.
Rebuilding our economy and restoring our democracy after the attack on January 6th.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Ending our nation's longest war in Afghanistan.
In
Strengthening NATO.
Afghanistan.
And supporting Ukraine. It's about why I chose to run for re-election and why I chose to step aside.
Well, I'm sure he chose.
I think we know why.
Most of all, it's about my
I'm
faith
sure it
in
was
the
his
promise
decision.
of America. The promise we made to those who've gone before us is to honor their sacrifice. The promises we made to one another and to treat everyone with dignity and respect. And the promises we made to future generations of Americans to remain the beacon to the world. Promise Me America is about my faith in America and the American people. I hope you'll read it, and I hope it strengthens your faith in what we can do as a nation and a people.
That was a little tough to understand at the end.
Yeah. It's the best one, and he's already taken a nap in the chair, so let's roll with that.
If that was the best they can get out of him during a recording session, oh boy, what do you think the outtakes were like? How angry was he at the sound guy in the back? He's like, Mr. President, can you say that again? And he's probably yelling at him. He's getting like belligerent, angry, like, Alzheimer's, angry, dementia angry at the guy in the sound booth, and like, we just have to get you to say it one time clear, please. And he's just going off on the guy.
He certainly doesn't sound like it was the stresses of the job that were making him do and say those weird things whenever he was president.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how anybody, this is why I can't take people seriously that say, oh, there are signs that Trump has dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And they went through 4 years of that. And they didn't say a word. Him falling upstairs and all this other stuff. And they're like, look at Donald Trump and the way he's standing there.
Yeah.
Clearly that's mental and cognitive decline.
Yeah. And then he'll disappear for a month and not have any cabinet meetings and no one hears from anyone. All these things. Yeah. No. You have the most probably accessible president of all time, Donald Trump, versus Joe Biden. Yeah, Donald Trump's old. I get that, but he's nowhere near the same problems that Joe Biden had. It's 97.1 FM Talk.
Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com is the website. I want to talk to you about a system called polyjacking that they use to even out, level out, and get rid of that hazardous, uneven concrete that you have in your walkway, your patio, at home, at work, at church. You need to get this taken care of. You don't want that liability to be existing while people, friends, family, heck, you are walking on that concrete from square to square, and there's that one spot where It's sunk and it's caused a trip hazard. So here's what they do. In a day, they can fix that uneven concrete with a system called polyjacking. They take a polyurethane foam, inject it under the concrete to raise it up and level it out, and they put a 5-year warranty on there to back it. 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. And talk to Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair about getting your uneven concrete taken care of once and for all. 314-271-9900. Online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Industrial automation is complex, but navigating it doesn't have to be. Like a trusted trail guide, Graybar's automation specialists help organizations reduce uncertainty, mitigate risk, and plan their next steps. From evaluating existing systems to connecting you with trusted technologies and business partners, we help future-proof your automation so your team can operate with confidence, today and tomorrow. Yep, Graybar does that.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering for Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. Spring is here, and if your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant health care program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
On Capitol Hill, Elisa Brady, Fox News. It's a common theme at 3 confirmation hearings. One of them for Dr. Erica Schwartz, the president's pick to lead the CDC.
Schwartz served as Deputy Surgeon General in the first Trump administration. She's a retired Public Health Service Rear Admiral, telling Senate Help Committee members today that she's always stood up for what is true and right.
You have my assurances that I will do that. I will never betray the science, ever. I will go where the science leads us. I will not have predetermined answers to conclusions.
Schwartz commits to restoring trust post-COVID as Democrat lawmakers criticize turnover at the CDC.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff, the former CDC director, was ousted after a dispute with the health secretary over vaccine policy. Dr. Schwartz also telling a Senate panel she would look into why mandatory surveillance of Cyclospora was ended last year. That's the parasite driving the current outbreak of a stomach illness in more than 30 states, suspected of being linked to lettuces, but the specific source still under investigation. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche also facing lawmakers, insisting he would not use the Justice Department for political purposes if confirmed as AG. Former federal prosecutor Jay Clayton facing questions from Democratic Senator Mark Warner about his qualifications to be Director of National Intelligence.
If you get this job, you're going to have intimacy with all of the nation's top, closely guarded secrets.
As the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, I've gained significant national security experience.
Clayton says that includes cases involving foreign terrorist groups, counter-espionage, and the abuse of communications platforms. A 5th day of strikes on Iran.
President Trump said that the strikes are going to continue and expand against the regime. Well, this morning, U.S. Central Command announced around 6 a.m. Eastern time that they were striking once again during the daytime Iranian territory.
Fox's Trey Yingst, the president ramping up pressure on Iran to make a deal. America is listening to Fox News.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace. You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Lots of sunshine around town on this Wednesday afternoon. 91 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 74. Thursday and Friday, a summertime pattern, though nothing extreme. Summer is back. Partly sunny skies, hot and humid. 93 each day, Thursday and Friday, and each day will bring some spot thunderstorms, mainly afternoon variety. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Well, I had to turn the TV on. I had this TV next to me, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll turn on the World Cup game. You said Argentina is playing right now, Brad. Is that right? And then
Yeah, it's Argentina and England, and the winner of this goes to the final to face off against Spain. And I think Spain beat France 2-0.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. But this TV's not working for me, so I don't know. I'll try to turn this on. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I thought maybe I'll turn that on, and mostly because I'm not really into the World Cup stuff. It doesn't really get me. But it's kind of fun to follow along when it's on, just, as something that's live as we're going on.
I like, I like whenever they get into arguments and then they get up in everybody's face and then they barely touch and then somebody falls down.
I know. They fall so fast. It's almost like my kids, when given the minor inconvenience of anything, I need you to do it. That's them. Minor inconvenience of being looked at the wrong way. They fall and flop to the ground. Joining us now is the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute, Dr. Jacob Olidort. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Ryan, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk Iran. And we know that we've had a deal, we've had no deal, then we've had a deal and no deal. And now we're looking at, okay, the threat is going to be back here in a week. And it's going to be a pretty big escalation if Donald Trump follows through and says we're going to take out power plants and bridges. Where do you think we stand right now with Iran? And is this the type of talk that Iran needs to hear in order to get something done?
Well, I think right now we are obviously the MOU was designed. I mean, the context of it really was to buy the time for coalition building, which we've been doing and we continue to do continuously. And then, of course, to put the burden on the regime once and for all to demonstrate their seriousness. So we've obviously crossed that Rubicon. Iran has demonstrated where they are, where they have been for 5 decades, and continue to escalate. And so right now it is about militarily degrading their ability to threaten ships in the Strait of Hormuz, while again bringing our partners and allies together for the day after and for their own responsibility to manage this waterway. But the reality also is that we have time on our hands still to bring this further towards the end state with the regime, to definitively degrade their ability to threaten the American people first and foremost, and then others around the world. And I think we continue to make progress along that line.
When you use the word progress, from an outsider, I look at this and say, what progress has been made? I mean, it seems like we're always starting from scratch over and over again. Are we likely to have a ceasefire again by next week?
We may or may not, and negotiations will be part of it, and that's fine. But the background here, the foundation, we talk about progress. This is a regime that for 5 decades has built an international architecture of terror. I mean, that is their principal export. And so that takes a little bit of time to take care of, is number one. Number two, even where we were in May of 2025 was a different reality, where Iran was close to breaking out, to acquiring a nuclear capability, towards using that on its ballistic missiles. They are, right now, it is a shadow of that reality. And so they can still escalate as we're seeing, but they cannot ramp up in that way. The imminent nature of that threat has been eliminated. That is only because this president has taken action no prior administration would take in definitively exerting military and economic pressure to eliminate its military capabilities. And I think that can never be overstated or emphasized enough.
Okay. And part of the precursor to all of this in the start of the attacks was the idea that Iran was within weeks of enriching and developing a nuke, which they would then use on their enemies, which they have a wide variety of, including our allies and us as the United States of America. On a scale of 1 to 100, 1 being unlikely to be true and 100 being 100% true, how likely do you believe that was true? We were within 2 weeks of Iran having a nuke which they could have used.
Well, I don't have any privileged visibility into this, and we're not reading, obviously, the intelligence. But there have been time and again reports for many years now, and declassified reports as well, about how they have consistently lied to international inspectors, how they have, cheated even their commitments on the 2015, the Obama nuclear deal. As horrendous as that was, they did not live up to that. And certainly we now have a lot of other capabilities to detect what they've been doing. That, of course, animated the timing, I think, of why the U.S. And its partners acted when they did. And the world would be a very different place had they broken out. And so the risk of letting that happen is simply far too great to simply stand by.
I think maybe some of the stronger evidence for me is that you have a guy like Donald Trump, who I don't think wanted to do this unless he absolutely had to. And I think this may have been an absolute had to situation to get him to move the way he did. Because mostly speaking, he would have just focused on the economy and all these other things that he'd been working on and trying to, shore up all these other, I guess, pokers in the fire. And to add one more, I feel like he almost had to have had his hand forced. And if no action would have meant them getting a nuke and using it, the outcome would have been just devastating for the United States and the world. So I feel like that might be one of the biggest pieces of evidence for me.
Well, this is the same Donald Trump, first of all, for many decades as a civilian who has been warning that Iran could not have a nuclear weapon, but also the same Donald Trump that in the White House took action that nobody else took in 2020 to eliminate Iran's chief architect of terror, Qasem Soleimani, and many other steps he's taken on the world stage, in Syria again, as well, against the Assad regime there back in 2020. So this is actually rather consistent with his behavior, but to your point as well, the cost, certainly in life to Americans, the cost financially would be far more devastating if the unthinkable were let to happen. And I think that has to also be a calculation.
Well, you have Ukraine as part of this and some other conflicts that are going on overseas. And, of course, the loss of Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the advocates that were calling for more funding for Israel, more funding for Ukraine. How do you think the loss of Lindsey Graham plays into this and maybe the support that Donald Trump may have had among Republicans to keep this going?
Well, of course, Lindsey Graham was probably the president's closest friend in the Senate these days. But I think, and certainly it's a tremendous loss for our country, just given the stature of who Senator Graham was, what he represented in terms of his long career. And we're seeing a lot of the testimonials. I worked for Senator Orrin Hatch back in the day, another friend of the president's. And so when a figure like that leaves the stage, it's always a challenge to the institution. But I think as far as foreign policy, the president has always been someone who has been far more brilliant than any of us at trusting his own instincts and understanding the moment. And in fact, on this issue has been really combining all the different levers, doing, again, in some respects, what no other president had done to bring about peace and to use really the formula of peace through strength, which, he introduced to the world with so much success in the first term and now in the second. Don't forget, he did more than Obama, who sent, goggles and whatever it was to the Ukrainians back, in the 2010s. But he also engaged in diplomacy and hard diplomacy with both sides in a way that Biden never did. And so, this is a tough one. It's probably the most complex. It's the biggest land war, Europe has seen since World War II, with some very tough people on both sides as well. So to get this to political end state, but, there are global equities here. There are American interests. And I do think as well, just we're talking on Iran, this is a direct impact on bringing about peace on that continent, given the supply line of weapons and military technology that Iran provides to Russia. So I think, there is a net positive in our being engaged the way we are in the Middle East, insofar as it impacts the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Well, one last question, and this wasn't something that I was planning on asking, but I'm just curious, considering you're the Director of American Security and Chief Research Officer at America First Policy Institute. There was the story about how the president came back, a redirect and a leak to the New York Times with some of this information. They're doing an investigation of who was sending this sensitive information to journalists inside of the media. How big of a deal is it when information gets leaked? Is it a national security threat that warrants investigation in this case?
I'm not familiar with the exact details of the case you're describing, but I think in general, classification is that way for a reason. Leaking can be perilous and very dangerous for national security. There's a purpose for that classification. So without knowing the specifics there.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, if people wanted to look you up online and some of the work you're doing, where can they go?
AmericaFirstPolicy.com is our website. Yep.
Easy. You on social media, Jay Olidort. That's how they can find you. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Dr. Jacob Olidort, Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. Coming up after the break, Ethan, sports and local, things that are impacting you. And one of the things I appreciate about Ethan when he comes in and talks sports is that he takes the liners that Ryan Wiggins makes for him in stride, which is always, I tell you, it's like starting a segment off with someone slapping you in the face. So let's find out what that slap's going to be like today for Ethan. Coming up after the break, 97.1 FM Talk.
When it comes to hiring a contractor, you need somebody you can trust. It's Mark Cox, and I want to tell you about my friend Curtis Carrell of the Carrell Roofing Company. Curtis fixed my roof. It was after a major hailstorm. He came the same day, got up and inspected it, and from start to finish, from having the adjuster out, pointing out what he thought was wrong, all the way until it was done. It was a fantastic experience. And that's not just my experience. I have coworkers here at the radio station who've also used Carrell Roofing Company, and a lot of my listeners have taken my advice, and I thank you for that. Curtis goes the extra mile. He just sent his crews out to Kansas City. They got additional training on working with insurance adjusters, making them more likely to get approval on your case. If you've been denied, call Carrell Roofing Company and get Curtis on the case. He's going to do a good job for you. More than 20 years of experience in the roofing industry, and you can take that to the bank. Call him at 314-222-9529 or CarrellRoofingCo.com.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit ThrottleNet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative. This segment of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by All Financial.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
And now, Ethan comments on the name of the segment.
I love it.
I have some thoughts, but I don't really feel like expressing them about the intro today. So I'm just not going to.
That's your comment on
Those
the
are my
segments.
comments. Those are my comments. Have some thoughts, but I would rather not bring them public at this time, and I would appreciate if you guys would respect my privacy on that matter.
as we go through this difficult
myself,
time.
my family, we just need some space to process this. Is that okay? Can you deal with that, Ryan?
Is that a
That
new
is
one?
such a sports answer, man.
He has so many that are in the rotation now that none of these are new anymore. Sports and local. Boy, I tell you what. A couple of days ago, home run derby. So awesome. St. Louis is riding on a high. And then the All-Star game puts everyone to sleep last night. Holy snooze fest. The National League lost again. I should have been a better radio person and prepped with this and seen just how many years since 2000 the National League has lost. I mean, it's got to be at least 80% of those games they've lost. They have not had it in the bag here the past quarter century or so. 3 Cardinals competed in the All-Star game last night, and only 10 hits combined, 3 coming from the National League. They set a record for the most strikeouts by a single team in the All-Star game with 15. What's the number, Brad?
It is. They are 4-20-1.
Yep,
since 2000.
That's more than 80% of the time that the American League probably is. 21 of 25. Yeah, that's like 81% or something like that. So anyway, yeah. It was pretty boring last night. The Cardinals, 3 teammates, I guess, players, all performed and got to play in the game last night. Riley O'Brien pitched in the 3rd inning and had a couple of bumps. He allowed a base hit, and then he hit Junior Caminero on the finger.
I saw that.
And Caminero immediately went down and left the game to get imaging. And I just cannot imagine how Riley O'Brien felt in that moment. It's an exhibition game. Everyone's there to have fun. And all of a sudden one of the best players in baseball, if he has a positive X-ray, is potentially going to miss time, that would have been terrible. So Riley O'Brien, kudos to him for being able to get out of that inning unscathed with no runs allowed, still put up a scoreless inning, and got a strikeout as well. He immediately went down to the imaging room, checked on Caminero, made sure he was okay, gave him a hug, everything was good. The imaging was negative, so that's a good thing. No broken bones. So hopefully Junior Caminero just has a little bit of a puffy finger this morning, and that there's nothing really else going on there. Ivan Herrera went 0 for 1 with a ground out, and Jordan Walker went 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And that is basically all that there is to say about the Midsummer Classic.
All right, let me ask this question for you. Let's say there was a All-Star Media game, and you were pitching, and Ryan Wiggins was at bat. Would you hit him intentionally?
In the dome.
You would get him. You would smack him upside the head.
I would dome him on pitch number 1. Benches clearing
like
brawl.
It was an accident.
Who's going to clear the benches to protect Wiggins?
I would tell him. I'd say it's coming right for your head.
I hope you're wearing a helmet.
You better wear an extra padded helmet, big boy.
Oh, I love this. All right. I hope so. I hope he's listening right now or has the ability to hear this. Someone should be messaging Wiggins right now to let him know what's going on. Okay.
Speaking of big boy, did you guys know that the world's largest working steam locomotive is called the Big Boy?
Yes.
Did you know that, Ryan Wrecker?
No, I've
Built
never heard
in
that.
1941.
Okay. No one likes to show off, right?
It's going to be in St. Louis, isn't it? Isn't it?
You want to just run the segment?
No.
Do you want to take the story and read it? Is that what you want, Brad?
No.
All right. And I suggest you let me tell about the Big Boy coming to St. Louis.
Yeah, give me the details.
The Big Boy's coming to St. Louis. Union Pacific's Big Boy number 4014, the largest working steam locomotive in the world, 133 feet long, weighs 1.2 million pounds. So immense that it pivots on a large pin like a truck pulling a trailer so that the front part can turn on a curve before the back part gets there. Will be in St. Louis this weekend. July 18th and 19th, the massive steam-powered locomotive is making a rare tour of the country, and it marks the first time the locomotive has been east of Chicago. Mm-hmm. The Union, it then goes on to tell some information about, Union Pacific being founded in 1862 with Abraham Lincoln signing the Pacific Railway Act to create the Transcontinental Railroad. And I think a lot of people thought that this would be an appropriate time with celebrations of America's 250th birthday to go ahead and send the Big Boy out into the heartland of America. I remember the last time that the Big Boy was in St. Louis. It was in 2024. I was still working for the Cardinals. It was a Saturday. I was pulling into the parking lot across from Busch Stadium that's right by Interstate 64. And I hear this loud whistle. And sure enough, there it is right in front of me. And I was like, what is going on? This thing is a behemoth. It looks like it's giving me the Polar Express vibes. I was like, this is so cool. And then I happened, look it up, and there it is. It's like there's all the information on it. So I thought it was actually really cool. And the sheer luck of just seeing it right there.
Accidentally.
And it was so loud. And you could hear it. It was still in the area as the game was going on. So you're hearing it whistle, as the game's being played. It was pretty cool. So it's going to be in the area in coming days. It's scheduled to leave Springfield, Illinois at 11:15 a.m. on July 18th, heading into the town of Girard in Macoupin County. And then at 12:30, it is scheduled to steam out of Girard and make its way towards St. Louis across the MacArthur Bridge late Saturday night, and it'll be stopping at Union Station. It'll be on display at Union Station from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on July 19th. Free, no tickets are needed. So this is cool. I like this. This is fun. It's a good time with, as mentioned, America 250 going on right now to be able to take a look at a little bit of American history.
I've seen
Brad,
people waiting for this train at like crossing guards and whatnot. They know what time it's coming through, and so they'll video it, and it'll be this big, just massive steam engine rolling through. And then these guys are so excited to see it, but it's a cool piece of equipment.
Ethan, I hope you can do this in honor of Mike Shannon, whose birthday is today, July 15th. Mike Shannon's birthday. One of his big catchphrases was "Big Boy." Do you think you can give a Mike Shannon impersonation? Because I heard a little bit of it there when you were saying "Big Boy," and
I was actually going for that. That's exactly what I was going for.
I heard it, and I thought, I want you to lean into it. Give me your best Mike Shannon.
One of the best Mike Shannon calls of all time was the 4th of July call of Albert Pujols' home run at Wrigley Field. The pitch prior, Kerry Wood on the mound, knocks Pujols down with a fastball up and in, and then the next pitch, Pujols sends a 400 and however long foot blast into the seats. It may have gotten out of the ballpark. And Mike Shannon says, "Get a load of that, big boy." That was his hello 4th of July home run call. One of his best of all time. So I did not know that it was Mike Shannon's birthday. Happy birthday to Mike Shannon. I only was able to meet him once. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have met him. It was in the final weeks of his life. It was my first year working for the Cardinals, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I started working for the Cardinals his first year that he was no longer in the booth, I believe. Second year. 22 was his first year that he was no longer in the booth. So, good day to bring up Mike Shannon. That is for sure.
July 15th, 1939. He was born in St. Louis, Missouri. We know he passed away in 2023, but I never got a chance to meet him. I always wanted to. He didn't come into the radio station all that often, at least not when I was in the building. So, legend, Mike Shannon.
That he is. One more story?
Sure.
Illinois Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth announced on Tuesday that they have filed legislation that would expand the Gateway Arch grounds into Illinois. The bill would extend the Arch grounds into Malcolm Martin Park and East St. Louis. The Senate legislation mirrors a bill filed earlier this year in the U.S. House. Officials said if the bill were to become law, the expansion could lead to growth, obviously, in East St. Louis and the surrounding region. So who knows if anything actually comes of this. We have talked about this in recent months regarding whether or not this would actually occur, if anything would come from this. I don't think it would be bad necessarily for that area. You got to start somewhere with trying to piece East St. Louis together. And maybe this is a step that could potentially work. I don't know.
This would likely include that fountain on the Illinois side.
I think that's in Malcolm Martin Park, yes. So
the fountain's supposed to be, isn't it supposed to be as tall as the arch whenever it's full powered?
I don't know. I don't know.
Really?
It's like one of the world's most powerful fountains, and nobody knows that it's over there.
And that's a shame,
I had no
right?
idea.
It would be nice to be able to bring attention to that area, but you know what? Here's the truth. Whether the Gateway Arch grounds expand to East St. Louis or not, it's not going to matter if people don't feel safe going over there. So you have to clean up crime. You have to make people feel safe going across the river over there to visit that side, because that side is amazing. The view is so cool.
It's the best view of the skyline of St. Louis from the arch.
But no one's going to go if they don't feel safe. So you can do this, but it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily fix the area. It would be one step of many that need to be taken in order to really revitalize that area.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. You can tell me what you think is more likely here. Let's say you're an old man
No boy.
What's more likely to throw you up in the air higher, a bison or a full blast from that fountain?
No, the full blast from the fountain, I
You think so?
Yeah.
You think that would
On
lift
top
you
of
off
that
the air
fountain?
higher than the bison?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen the fountain in action. Yeah, that would
Do
that
you
would
think
send you
that
flying.
do you think that how powerful? Like, is it powerful enough to like put a hole in you, put a hole through you?
Oh, for sure.
So then it may not
What?
send you up.
Yeah, it's run by gigantic diesel pumps.
How big of a stream are we talking? That are we talking like a laser blast, almost like something that would, like Ethan mentions, would blow a hole through you? That's how strong this water pressure is. Now I want to know if it would launch in the air or put a hole in you.
It's called the Gateway Geyser, is what it's called, and it's at Malcolm W. Martin Memorial Park. And
Great wrestling
let's see
term.
Here, the Gateway Geyser, East St. Louis, more not.
Brad's trying to find the information on there. He's on the official website, and I think he's hoping in which he will find information that says whether or not it'll put a hole through you or not.
I mean, it reaches up to 630 feet in the air, is what it says on the website.
Which isn't that's right around the height of.
That was the design.
Is that what the height of the arch is? 630.
Yep. Gateway Geyser is designed to mirror the height of the Gateway Arch, reaching up to 630 feet in the air, making it the tallest water fountain in the United States and the third tallest one in the world.
What? And no one even knows it's there. That is so frustrating.
I knew it was there.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're into.
I'm a nerd.
Diesel and things like that.
That is perhaps the most dangerous splash pad.
Get it together, Illinois. Be better.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, there it is. Ethan, Sports and Local. Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate it. What I've learned today is you would beam Wiggins given the chance at a charity baseball team.
And don't forget about a water fountain being able to put a hole in you. You also learned that.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the Bagel Loan. You can Google the Bagel Loan right now and get the details that I'm sharing with you, but it's pretty simple. When you want to get a new mortgage because you're purchasing a home, or maybe it's a refinance on your current mortgage, you want the best deal possible. You're going to qualify for the low rates that you qualify for. Stewie's going to help connect you with those, but at Stewart's American Mortgage, you don't pay any closing costs when you get the Bagel Loan. So what you do is you call Stewie or text him at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And talk to Stewie about setting up a bagel loan for you. If you're looking to be a competitive buyer and you're using the bagel loan, you can take those thousands of dollars saved in closing costs and apply it to the offer you make on the house. Or, just keep it in your savings account and don't spend it. It's up to you, but Stewie puts you in the position to be able to make those great decisions for you and your family. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Sometimes historic events suck. But what shouldn't suck is learning about history. I do that through storytelling. History That Doesn't Suck is a chart-topping history-telling podcast chronicling the epic story of America decade by decade from the 18th century to the 20th. Original music and immersive sound design accompany us on our storytelling journey. Listen to and follow History That Doesn't Suck, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. or call 314-260-6120 or visit landstorylaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Land Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: should we do away with seasonal time changes? I've been monitoring the chat here, Ryan. There's some great stuff in this chat. One says, keep the standard time year-round. People who want more daylight can get out of bed earlier. Then on our YouTube chat, Joe says, I disdain change. This feels like change for the sake of change, and it's pointless. Terry says, it's dark when I go into the work in the winter anyway. Would rather have more light at the end of the day after work. I'm fine with daylight savings times being year-round. And then Kate also says, yes, keep daylight savings time, or savings time. Which one is it, Ryan?
If you say the S is when you'll get all the angry
That's when everybody
emails.
gets. I hope I'm making lots of people. You can direct that hate mail to Ryan Wiggins.
Yes.
Anyway, that being said, the time is 2:38. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
2026 is a big year for America, and we'll be here with you, celebrating every step of the way. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk, sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
I'm looking at a picture of the Gateway Geyser.
Yeah.
And apparently the 6-foot water jet puts a pressure of 550 pounds per square inch. So I had to Google that, and
It's 6 foot in diameter?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it says 6 foot is what they call it. Maybe that's how tall it is, because I'm looking at a picture of it. It looks tall. The diameter is water jetted out at 6 foot tall nozzle. I don't know what the diameter is here, but when I look at the picture, I think it's just how tall the nozzle is. But can 550 PSI blow a hole through you? So I asked Google AI, and Google AI said, what? What?
Sounded like Frozone's wife. Why do you need to know?
It said whether or not it could, quote, blow a hole completely through you depends on the distance and nozzle used. And it said you generally need pressures between 30,000 and 60,000 PSI to blow through a person like a bullet. So are you going to have a hole blown through you? No. Are you going to break skin? Oh, yeah, that thing's going to break.
It's going to leave a mark for sure.
Yeah. That's going to leave a mark.
I was reading a little farther on, and they were saying that it's running out of its lifespan, that it's wearing out. And so they said that sometimes it's just not fiscally responsible to maintain and keep it going.
Yeah. Well, with all the data center arguments and stuff, all the water being used for data centers, they're shooting up 630 feet for the fun of it. How often are they shooting that stuff up, by the way? Is it just like on demand?
That fountain? Man,
yeah.
I remember. So I don't know if they're still doing it based on that report or website that I was reading. But when they would do it, it'd be maybe once or twice a week. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't like it was constantly running. But when it was going, you could see it from a really far distance.
It's kind of interesting. Really, I've never heard of that. So that is there. Thank you for that. Going Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. You should go do that now with daylight saving time, and then send all your angry letters to Ryan Wiggins. I think that's hilarious. I would love, and maybe this is something we should actually organize, a charity baseball game where Ethan is pitching and Ryan Wiggins is at bat, because then we can really see if he's going to beam him.
I think he would. I think Ethan would absolutely beam him. I don't know that he'd hit him in the head, but he would do it for effect.
Hey, you like to speculate, and this is kind of morbid speculation, but over on Channel 4 here, it says teen charged as adult in East St. Louis shooting that killed 5, injured 2. And some of the details about this, a 16-year-old charged as an adult. And they're talking about all these people, 5 people killed have been identified, one of which, as court documents say, that after Latricia May was killed, her right thumb was cut off. This is weird. After she was killed. Why would anyone do that? That's the part I'm trying to understand. Why? Is that a thing? Does that mean something?
Why she would cut her thumb off?
We're talking about shooting deaths, and there's 5 victims here that were killed. Why would someone cut a finger off after
just a finger is weird. I mean, like, okay, I get it.
A right thumb.
So here's my thought on this. Now, I don't think that's the case for this one, but like, don't people like cut fingers off and send them as proof of execution or of, so it'd be like a hit out on a person. But wasn't this like family violence?
Yeah, some of it. Attempted murder and 2 counts of aggravated battery involving a firearm alleging that one was shot in the neck, one in the back, aggravated hijacking count, unlawful of a stolen, according to the complaint. 3 of the victims and the father of the other teen suspect spoke with reporters about the case. May said his daughter was dating Davis. Okay, so it's part of that. It's just sad. It's altogether sad. Why take a thumb? That kind of surprised me. A couple of other things. Meta, which is the company that owns Facebook and them.
Yeah.
There's 26 employees are suing because this is actually kind of interesting. So Meta, being a tech company, they said, you know what, we're going to do layoffs, so we're just going to do them randomly. So we're going to spin the wheel and see who gets laid off. And wouldn't you know it, they're on maternity leave. So the people that were targeted are like, we don't think this was random, number one. Number two, we were literally on paternal or family leave when you did it. So that's not a good look.
No.
So Meta are in the process of a workforce reduction, about 10% of their workforce, 8,000 employees, 26 of which were on paternal leave or maternal leave, family leave. So they're like, I think that maybe this wasn't random. I think you didn't like us not showing up to work, and it was easy for you to cut us. Do you think there's a chance of that?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I would find it hard to believe that it was just random or accidental. So
spin the wheel. Wouldn't that be a terrible way to wake up? You're like on a conference call and there's a giant wheel and they're like determining. It's almost like back in the Vietnam War when you're watching TV to see your draft order, when they're going by your last names and stuff.
Welcome to your performance review.
And there's a giant wheel, Price is Right style.
Wheel of
if you
morality.
go over, it's over. Yeah, wheel. So the plaintiff's lawyer said in a statement that the lawsuit asked for one thing: preserving the status quo to keep the workers employed pending arbitration, because there's certain protections when you're on leave, and some people file those things. You never talk to someone that said, I don't need to worry about that. They would never let me go. But you should probably just preemptively, just in case, make sure there is some sort of written notice of what you're doing, just in case something like this happens.
Yeah.
It happens in the real world. I want to see this Geyser in action. When I'm off the air here soon and Mark Reardon is on, I'm going to have to, first thing, go to YouTube and look up the Gateway Geyser. I look forward to that. Oh, I heard something in this Odyssey movie. The Backstreet Boys perform a song. Did you hear that?
I have heard that before. I mean, it's recently that I've heard it, but I've heard it before.
They have all these criticisms. They're going to try to Hollywood woke this movie. And of course, those criticisms are warranted, because when you take something like the Odyssey and then you try to fit it into your own type of like Hollywood perception to try to appease to certain audiences, it's so stupid. And then after all of that, they stick the Backstreet Boys in there to perform a song. I just don't get it.
I got a couple texts in about the shooting and why you would take the right thumb. And I'm left-handed, so this is why it didn't click with me. But these people said a thumbprint to get into your phone or a fingerprint to get into a safe or computer.
Oh, that's terrible. That is so worse than I thought it would be. That is some Mission Impossible stuff. Like they take eyeballs and things. This is like terrible, terrible. All right, well, I guess you guys watch a lot of true crime documentaries because that's the only way you would be able to know something like that, hopefully, not from experience. When we come back, I know we're going to have to read the poll results, but we didn't really talk about the daylight savings time all that much. Just very briefly, maybe we can comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. One more segment here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. Don't be fooled by those deceptive ads you're hearing on Missouri Amendments 4 and 5. Get the truth. I'll explain all of the amendments and key local races. Download my August voter guide at 971talk.com.
Have you signed up to be a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service yet? You can when you call 314-513-0091. If you need AC service this summer, call a company that's family-owned, operated right here in the St. Louis area, independent, just like our lovely country, America. Call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation and talk to them about their preferred partner plan. You're going to get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks. You're going to have them check the entire system. It's going to happen twice a year. Discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs. Discounts on new equipment. Plus, you're going to get priority service. Starts at just $19 a month. Paying monthly, you are going to get the 12-month free. The service at Air Comfort Service is second to none here. St. Louis Magazine A-List Award winner, BBB Torch Award winner, Carrier's President's Award winner, thousands of 5-star reviews, plus one from me because they've serviced my home multiple times. Call Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job. Cut the Bullpack paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm Ryan Recker. One more segment here. By the way, if you want to find me online at Ryan Recker, I don't really say my socials. I say it sometimes and I forget. I do have a Coast to Coast AM coming up this weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun. I had one this past weekend too. We did not talk about explosive diarrhea on that, but I think this will be the second show in a row we've talked about the explosive diarrhea. And you know who got it? Because they have that one parasite that's been going around, and there's been a lot of cases here in Michigan that have picked it up. So the voice actor who did the voice acting for the little Chihuahua in the Taco Bell commercials in the 90s. The recent explosive diarrhea parasite has been taking the nation by storm.
Oh, no.
And the actor who voiced the Chihuahua tells TMZ he ate a Taco Bell that did not sit well with him and gave him the case of, well, you know what? He's not telling people to not eat Taco Bell. He's just saying, I'm just want to let people know what's going on.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the voice actor is still there. And you know what the thing is? I didn't realize this was the voice actor. He's a famous actor. He was on Reno 911. Did you enjoy that show?
I have never seen that show.
What? You're like Ethan with, what were some of the movies he hasn't seen?
Spaceballs and Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Well, he's on Reno 911, but he does a lot of other voices. He's a great voice actor. But yeah, Taco Bell is under investigation for part of the lettuce and things. And can I tell you, back in the day when you didn't have a lot of money, Taco Bell was always there for you. You would go through and like a 79-cent crunchy taco and, a cheap drink and probably the best Pepsi you had. For whatever reason, they had the best Pepsi. And you would go through and, spend a couple of bucks and you get your tacos, and it was great. And I used to just load up. Man, I could do 4 crunchy tacos without thinking twice. And then you go as an adult and they're like $2 each now. And you're like, what happened to my Taco Bell? What happened?
I worked at Taco Bell whenever they would do 35-cent tacos for the Blues winning with scoring 5 or more. 30, I think it started out with 39-cent tacos if the Rams scored 39 or more. Those were some crazy times because originally there was no limit, so there'd be people ordering 1,000 tacos.
Yeah, I would find a loophole around that, and that probably made your life miserable. But did you root against the Rams in that case?
Rooted against 39 points.
Yeah,
38 and hope they missed the extra point.
And you're watching on the TV kind of like a gambling addict thinking, please don't go over 39.
Oh, man, I remember getting so mad at the Blues crowd because it was 4-0 and the crowd started chanting, "We want tacos."
You don't understand. Please stop.
Ryan, I'm not kidding. I would show up for my shift and go to my station, and I wouldn't move from that station where I was like, so they called it the steamer, the stuffer, and the wrapper. The stuffing stations where they put like the cold stuff in, the lettuce, tomatoes, and whatnot. The steamers where they put the hot stuff in. So I would stand there and be putting lettuce and cheese on tacos for an entire 5-hour shift, not move from my spot. When I would step out to go clock out, when my help finally arrived, there would be 2 footprints surrounded by the lettuce that had fallen on the floor.
Wow. That sounds
It was
miserable.
brutal.
And then at the end of it, they said, no, you may not have a taco. Like what they tell you, you're not allowed to eat.
Or no, we are slammed. You have to stay on. We need you to stay on longer. Guys, you knew there was a football game last night.
What are you doing here? Some days you're the stuffer and some days you're the wrapper. Just how life goes. All right, let's read the poll results. Let's see how that came.
Okay, yeah. So this one is very, very close. But see where my number's at here. So this is how it ended up. The last place was no, leave it alone with 25%.
You should probably read the question, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do we do away with seasonal time changes? The last one was no, leave it alone. Then with 36%, it was yes, keep standard time. And then the winner with 39% of the vote was yes, keep daylight savings time. So Congress is in touch with the people. The people want daylight savings time.
One or the other. Standard time or daylight saving.
Yeah.
And I knew it would be close because even when you do polling on this, they're always so close to each other. All right. Well, that pretty much does it for the Annie Frey Show. It's always a pleasure to work with you, Brad. You're so easy to work with. You're so good at what you do. No one actually gets to see behind the scenes, but I will just let everyone know that's listening here. He works so hard and you make my life so easy when I get to fill in. And I get to come back Friday, I think.
Yes, I don't want anybody to see behind the scenes because sometimes it's a dumpster fire. But as long as the on-air product sounds good.
As long as they don't try to rearrange the studio again or something like that, I think you'll be all right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mark Reardon is coming up. If you want to find me online, at Ryan Recker on Twitter, Ryan Recker Radio, Facebook. Have a great day.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
The uncertainty that clouded the